One way to my son.
Yeah.
What up, what up? A2HH live on a Monday. We got a whole lot to talk about today, man. What up, Coop? How you doing, brother?
What up?
Man, crazy day, man. First of all, I want to say rest in peace to my friend Michael Flood's mother, Miss Sandra Flood. And also my daughter's friend. She passed away as well today. Got the news of that as well. So rest in peace to Rose. Also, shout out to all you out there. Hit thumbs up in the chat. We're going to get into a whole lot today. Everything from Soulja Boy talking down on J. Cole to what is the actual barometer for a great all-time MC now? Because now we're seeing a generation kind of demote Nas into the Jadakiss bracket. And that's no disrespect to Jada. I've always looked at Jada as more of a 1B as opposed to a 1A.
No, we've had this conversation before.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, guys like Kiss and Pusha is where like the A-list, like that top tier A-list kind of ends.
Mm-hmm.
That is not where Nas is. And it's no disrespect to Kiss.
No.
And we just need to get it started like this. Kiss don't have a classic album, Mike.
Yeah.
Conversation
let alone
over.
3 or 4
or 5, Mike.
I mean, do y'all really want, since we want to talk 16 bars, and we're going to get into that, do y'all really want to go song for song with Nas and Jada? And we saw how heavy Jada was in the verses twice. Those were group settings, if we're going to be honest.
Mike, let's be honest. Nas could just play Illmatic and it was written and it would be Jadakiss's whole catalog.
I don't think people understand how powerful it is to have an album like an Illmatic. Because
or it was written.
Yeah, it was written too. And
like,
it was written, it's gotten legs over the years. But I remember when you and I did our Patreon, and I had Public Enemy, you had Eric B. and Rakim, who also have an album that's kind of like that. But I was able to pull like 8 songs from It Takes a Nation. When you have an album like that, it's different, man. It's different.
What I'm saying,
and Illmatic has a good, 8 records you could pull from? Because you could play New York State of Mind.
Easy.
I'll say this, and I don't want to be disrespectful and pull out Jada, but they brought Jada in the conversation.
Shame on
Jada doesn't have a song better than New York State of Mind.
I don't like
He doesn't have a better song than Life's a Bitch. He doesn't have a better song than The World Is Yours. He doesn't have a better song than...
We need... See, like,
okay, go ahead.
So, no, we got to have a hip-hop conversation because it's like, when they said these things, I realized how little, like, they knew about hip-hop.
That's the problem. And
that's the problem.
And they're participants in hip-hop on a high level. And I want to get this out the way, too. And it's no disrespect to Trina, but I don't go to Trina for my hip-hop conversations, right? I don't expect for Trina to hail lyricism or lyricists high. So that's kind of why she's kind of being left out of this. But Tierra Whack and Symba, based on the way that they present themselves and how they take writing serious on that level, more so than the Sonics or whatever, disappointed in their perspectives.
It's not... It is disappointing. It's not surprising. There's a lot to unpack within it.
Mm-hmm.
But, and I'm not joking when I say this, I feel bad for Kiss because he hasn't done what needs to be done with his career to be mentioned next to Nas like that.
No, I agree. I think he would agree with that too. He's ahead. He understands.
Like Styles was just at Nas's 50th birthday party. Him and Kiss were talking about, that's the GOAT. That's the dude that paved the way after KRS and Kane and Rakim and G-Rap. It's like, so when these people come along, like respectfully, it's like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about at all.
I mean, even if you lived through the Rough Rider era and you saw DMX around during the same time as the Lox and when Jada was dropping his solo album, DMX was the guy because he had the catalog.
He had the songs.
Yeah.
Like, bar for bar, everybody knows Kiss is better than X. Do you think Kiss is a better overall artist than X?
No.
Nobody really thinks
Nobody would have said that. They might say that now because of the longevity or whatever. And even now it's tough to, you don't have a, it's dark and hell is hot. That's just the reality.
It's a reality. You
yeah.
Hold on. You don't have It's Dark and Hell is Hot or Illmatic because you as an artist can't make it. And it's okay.
Yeah.
It's not like he's not all-time great. If you need 16 bars and you want a New York rapper, I mean, because here's what I mean. And here's where the industry plant or the media critique of it comes into play. Well, if I need 16, it's like, oh yeah, I can go to Kiss over almost anybody else. That's Big and Jay included too. Why is it always a Nas conversation when we doing this shit?
That's fair. Illmagic.
He got more hot 16s than Jay do.
Illmagic with the super chat says, what up, what up? How y'all feel about Lauryn's rant for not showing up on time?
Oh, we gonna get to that. If we have time, we gonna get to that. I think we all know.
Should we say something about that right now? You want to get into it now?
Have I not spent the last 3 years talking about her lateness?
Well,
she brought God into it. Don't bring God into your ass not being on time. Let's try to stay on top.
I think the issue I had with what she said.
I love her. She got to
I
stop
love
that.
Lauryn. I love Lauryn
more than most of y'all. Like
I
stop
love
it. Just
Lauryn.
Stop. Just please.
What I didn't like what she said was the fact that nobody asked her to make a follow-up album. Like, Lauryn, everybody begged you to make a follow-up album. Don't do that. Like, I didn't understand that part. Did I misconstrue what she said? Because it sounds like she's saying she didn't make another album because nobody asked her to. We all asked her to. On record.
What are we doing?
Do you think that the record company, Columbia Records, very smart record company, they've been very successful since, the 50s, 40s, whatever. You think they sold all these records with the score from the Fugees, Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, got 8 Grammys, and they didn't ask her to make another album?
You need to stop that. Need to stop that. Need to stop.
Are we going to go right into this whole Nas Tierra whack thing, or do you want to just kind of open up the show?
No, I want to go into Nas and that because like the whole Lauryn thing is something separate.
Okay.
And I've been addressing it for years, and people keep telling me to give her grace and to stop hating, and I'm like, okay, like the grace period expired like 20 years ago. Okay.
I mean, my thing is,
like,
man,
I'm not giving her grace because, and I'm not being funny when I say this, she doesn't deserve grace. She deserves the accurate critique for what she's done with these live performances. And here's why she does not deserve grace. Because you have not been a regular recording artist, your live show is the main thing.
Mm-hmm.
Be on fucking time and stop making excuses. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. It would be different, like, if she had a whole catalog of music to fall back on that set up there and spoke to something else. It's not like we can go pull up Lauryn's music all the time and just listen to it in the car. We can pull up The Score, Blunted on Reality, Unplugged, and The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Unplugged was what year?
That was, I feel like that was 2002 or something.
So you've been living off of your live show for 2 decades. Be on time and stop making fucking excuses. Don't bring God into it. Don't bring the fans into it. Hold yourself accountable and take some responsibility as a grown-ass woman. I say that respectfully as somebody that literally thinks she is one of the best MCs that has ever walked this earth.
She's one of the greatest artists we've ever had.
Has a talent, and I have said this on this show. As a talent, she's the only person that I have seen from our generation that had the potential to operate on a Michael Jackson, Prince, Janet Jackson type of level, even beyond R. Kelly. That did not happen.
Mm-hmm.
Now, early on in your career, when you're going through a lot of things, I can understand why that happened. But as a grown-ass woman, Mike, who is older than us, that makes her money this way, you owe it to your fans to be on time. Stop feeding us that bullshit. I'm so sick of her feeding us that bullshit, and I'm dead-ass serious. This has nothing to do with what she did to me personally with those shows. Because we've been through that before.
Right.
This is about you being a fucking grown-up and holding yourself accountable. You were fucking late. Say you were fucking late.
She's done that many a times. Thumbs up in the chat.
It's always an excuse when she's late, and I'm tired of it.
I remember at Chastain.
It's always something different why she's late.
At Chastain Park, she said she didn't remember what the venue was.
Mike, as a boss, if she had a boss, she'd be fired.
DFW Herbie with the super chat says, Lauryn Hill only has one album because no one wants to work with her due to her stealing music and not giving credit. Esquire with the super chat says, I wouldn't dare defend slander against the GOAT, but it seems Tierra just prefers punchline bars, which is more Kiss's lane than Nas. Well, we would have to see what the rest of her top 10 looks like. And I agree with that, Esquire. I'm about to get to that in a second. Mall7 with the super chat says, I find it funny how these people say that Nas isn't better than Pac, Jay, Big, or Eminem because they're more popular, but will turn around and say that Jadakiss is better than Nas and he's less popular. Unreal. CJ Kid with the super chat says, peace. Hope the physical and mental is good, guys. Appreciate that, CJ. Yeah, CJ's always holding it down.
CJ's been on his mental health kick, and I appreciate that.
Esquire with the super chat says, similar to some fans would prefer Wayne to Tupac, it's a one-sided view. The disrespect is unnecessary, especially because they're documented Nas fans. We'll get to that as well. Okay, Esquire is kind of like living in my brain right now because I was going to say, I think that for a certain generation, Wayne has defined what a great MC is to them. It's punchlines, not really heavy on the subject matter, not really heavy on making, I guess, a complete body of work, just about being able to hit you with a crazy 16, which Wayne did on Benny, and we're going to talk about that.
He did it on Nas's album, too. He did it on Magic 3.
And I think that we're in an era between Wayne's run and the adulation that Eminem has, that there's a generation that feels like if you spazzing on a record, that makes you the greatest or one of the greatest. And I think that's why they were harping on that 16 and the punchlines. But I guess from the era that we came up in, it's like you have to do all the things, right? You have to have the albums, number one, right? To be in this conversation, you actually have to have the notable songs. You have to have the catalog. You have to have the body of work, the longevity, and the range with subject matter. Because as much as I loved Redman, Busta Rhymes, and even Method Man, my first favorite rapper growing up, I couldn't make that argument with my friends and my peers that these guys, bar for bar, record for record, were better than Nas, Jay, Pac, Big. They took on too many topics. And I feel like now you have an era of people who just throw that out the window. And it gets back to the fact that people don't even really make albums. So now you don't really hold the album making process high, sounds like. Unless it's Kendrick, I guess.
We pick the fruit that we want to eat from the trees that we want to eat from. When it comes to Kendrick, it's like, how can you say that when he's made all these wonderful albums? And it's like, oh, but then we talk about Nas and it's like, well, Jadakiss would blast him on a 16.
But what Kendrick has, not to interrupt you, Kendrick has that spazzing thing too. So he gives he gives them that effect that he does. You don't think he does the things that Wayne and M do on a track?
When?
Like the song Mad City or something. He has a flashy flow. Will you give him that?
Old.
Will you give him that though?
It's Andre's flow, yeah.
He has a flashy flow. Another person that's probably held high by anime. I don't know if you've heard Tierra Whack, but she's very animated, very Nicki, Missy, Kendricky when it comes to that. So they hold the animation and inflection high. So it's a theatrical era.
Real talk, Mike, and I'm not being funny when I say this. I didn't know who she was until this went viral. How about that? I didn't know who she was till this went viral. When it happened, I was like, why is Trina sitting next to Symba in this? I was like, who the fuck is that? And I mean that just like that. I mean it just like that.
She was just in this documentary that I watched. It was a documentary on females in hip hop.
That's great for you. Get your check.
She can rap. She's from Philly.
I don't
And that's another part that's kind of like,
I don't give a fuck if she's from Brooklyn. I don't give a fuck if she's from Brooklyn, from Philly, Detroit, Atlanta, Chicago, L.A.
How high do you think she holds Black Thought?
She don't know what the fuck she talking about, Mike. And that's just really it at the end of the day. Neither do Symba, neither do Trina. They don't know hip-hop like they should.
Well, you know what? Let me go through some of Symba's old
We need to get educational and informational with these people. Well, they are severely lacking education and information. It's a problem in the black community. It's a problem in the hip-hop community. It showed itself.
Where did you see this, though?
Oh, no. I saw that.
So, I mean, the education is not the problem.
Shame on him. Shame on him. He's the real problem. Trina and Tierra not the problem. Let's go.
Tierra said some stuff, too. All right.
She not, Mike, not to be funny, she's not important enough. Don't nobody know who the fuck she is from our era, really. It's like, I was like, Tierra Whack said Nas in their top 10. I was thinking to myself, Mike, I was like, so the fuck what?
Well, hold on. Let me go.
I was like, when does she matter? When does she matter enough that it mattered what she said? Like where? When? Because if so, Mike, we've been doing a real hip hop podcast for 3 years, and we have a big following in New York, and people know us in Philly. If she mattered like that, we would have heard her fucking name.
And
before.
nobody was coming at us like, you gotta cover Tierra.
Think about this. Mike, I'm not joking when I say this. Not one hip hop podcast, no matter how big or how small, has talked about the plight of women more than we have. Why the fuck has her name not come up one time?
I guess people ain't fucking with it.
She ain't that fucking important. She ain't that good.
So, all right, so this is what Symba tweeted, and I was showing Coop
I was thinking
this.
to myself, it's like, yo, I can come out of retirement. I heard one of her tracks. I was like, yeah, I can come out of retirement and smoke you. It'll take me like about a day of practice. She not that nice.
So
niggas who talk about other niggas, you only get to talk about other niggas if you nice.
Yeah, the way I'm going to play it, too. Fair use and all that. I want to play it.
I know I'm nice. I done freestyle with some of these dudes. Like, I done been in,
I want to play what she said, so you know what I'm saying?
I want to play some of her music, Mike. I want to know where the
we can't do that.
We can't do that
on air. We can't do that on air.
I know Symba can rap, and that's why he got a lot of nerve doing this shit.
I want to play this for the people.
He got a lot of fucking nerve, Mike.
Hold on. First of all, let me get to these super chats, and then I'm gonna quote some of their earlier tweets. Leroy Green with the $20 super chat.
When they was groupies before they got some money and the industry got to them.
I don't know. Leroy Green with the $20 super chat showing love said, "What up, fellas? But fastball Coop, you hear like I do that Rick Ross has one of the best ears for beats. So the question is,
best beat picker ever.
Is he the problem D1 says he is, and also potentially a solution, turning music another direction?" I'm gonna get to that, Leroy.
Okay. We're going to talk about that.
We're going to talk about that.
Ross has offered before and said, I want to executive produce Nas's album.
Mm-hmm.
You know what he didn't say? Nas ain't in my top 10. Nas ain't like that with the bars. I'm going to take Kiss over Nas. He didn't say that. See, Ross knows who he is, and he knows his place, and he knows his space, and he shows respect at the same time. So
thumbs up in the chat, everybody.
So what he's saying is that, what I bring to the table can help Nas. But notice he said executive production. He didn't say shit about no rhyming. These niggas are talking about his skills.
Andrew Williams with the super chat says, I don't know who Tierra Whack it was. I don't know who Tierra Whack was. I can't recite one Symba bar. And Trina ain't been hot since George Bush was president. These fools shouldn't talk. Jason Sweet with the super chat says, Jada said himself Nas is his top 5. Case closed.
Yes, Big, Nas, DMX, and Styles. I know Jada's top 5.
Well, see, that's the thing. Anybody who takes writing seriously, for you to discredit, now Nas ain't got to be in your top 5, top 10, whatever. But for you to discredit the man, and I'm going to play the audio, and I want people to see where we're coming from here. That's so off base, and it's coming from a place where, Symba tweeted. He tweeted in 2015. This is August 23rd, 2015. Man, he said, my personal top 5. Tupac, Nas was number 2. DMX was number 3. Jay-Z was number 4. Ice Cube was number 5. What changed? Okay, let me get to another tweet. Hold your thought. One second. Symba says, Nas' new album is the shit. If you don't like it, you're an ignorant motherfucker with no respect for true music. Download Nas' Life is Good. This was in 2012. Yes.
A decade ago.
Now, this is all the stuff that Tierra Whack has said. Now, let's see. Let me go to Tierra Whack real quick, since she dismissed it as well.
The Whack part of her name is appropriate today.
This is all 2012. She says, is it weird that I get emotional every time I hear Nas' Daughters? It's just so true. She says, to my brothers with daughters, I call it. Nas, love this goddamn song. And then he said, Nas is a pioneer in hip hop. And she's quoting, came home from school. I was on my way to sleep and kick off my sneakers and put some Nas on repeat. And then she says, I was just having a conversation with the legend Nas. He's really feeling me.
Mike, stop giving her burn and reading her tweets. She don't deserve this burn. That's why I'm saying, like, you giving her some burn. Fuck giving her some burn. Her and her old ass tweets. These niggas is whack. I'm gonna tell you.
I'm just trying to get to the bottom of why.
No, we're not gonna give them more airtime about some old whack ass shit that they said because they're.
What do you want to hear? What they currently say?
That's what I'm saying. If what they're saying today isn't credible, then it was never credible before because they're not credible. Okay.
That's fair.
Let's really address this for what it is. And this is what I'm culturally talking about is wrong here. Mike, in popular culture, in quote unquote white music, if somebody were to say the Beatles and the Rolling Stones aren't top 10 bands, white people would be in uproar. It sounds fucking absurd to say that. If you were to say in white popular culture, Paul McCartney is not one of the best songwriters ever, top 10, that would be absurd. To say Freddie Mercury doesn't have one of the top 10 voices uptown, it's absurd to say that. Mm-hmm. And so what we're not about to do is pivot and give them a pass because we live in this microwave pop media culture. You don't know what you're talking about, and you need to shut the fuck up and show respect. Mm-hmm. Because that's what they do on the other side, and that's why we don't have those fucking problems over there. Nobody's walking around talking about U2's Joshua Tree and saying, oh, that album ain't like that. Yes, the fuck it is.
You know what? I keep hearing nothing but rave reviews about U2's concert in Vegas. You know what I mean? And nobody in their current generation is like, man, that U2 show ain't like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, U2 overrated. Would anybody even fix their mouths to say that?
So I want people to understand that this is where we are. That's how absurd that they are. Saying Nas isn't in your top 10 is literally like blasphemous to this culture. Not to him. Listen to what I'm saying. To this culture. It's about keeping the culture intact. And so what it lets me know is that for whatever you are and whatever you may be, you're more concerned with yourself and making a fucking dollar than going viral, than upholding this culture. That makes you a vulture. They're worse than Bruno to me. They're worse than Taylor Swift to me. Because you got bought into this shit. You from fucking Philly and you talking this way about Nas, you're whack like your name says. You ain't like that. I'm never fucking with Symba again. I don't give a fuck what he say or what he do. It's like, fam, I actually liked you. No, we got to stop letting people do this in our culture, man.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. You know I'm the number one proponent for that. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody walks around talking about fucking Paul McCartney and John Lennon and Freddie Mercury this way. Even if you don't like them.
Even if you won't fuck with they shit like that.
Nobody talking about Mick Jagger like this, nigga.
I just find it hard
Bono, Tom Petty. Nobody talks about these guys that way.
I'm going to say this.
You think all the guys that came after them really love all those guys like that? Everybody has particular ears for music, Mike.
Exactly.
It's a respect thing.
It's a respect
It's the lack of respect that comes in this culture from these new motherfuckers I'm sick of.
You're right. If you pick up a guitar, right?
Shame on Trina.
If you're a guitar player, and it could be some guitar players from yesteryear, and you're really not keen on their style, you're more of a fan of another person's style, but you can hear the guitar work and be like, you know what, that motherfucker was nice. Now, fast forward to these people, right? I never really pegged Trina as somebody who's picking up a pen and pad and just, you know what I'm saying, like, yo, what can I say to really,
for her. That's how Ross,
you know what I mean? Like, what can I say to really blow people's mind? Like, or I don't peg Trina for somebody that sat there and listened to Rewind and was like, you know what, or I gave you power and know it word for word, so whatever. But as far as Symba and Tierra Whack, they coined themselves as people who care about lyricism and lyrics and picking up a pen. And I don't see how you could do that for a professional career and look at somebody with a resume like a Nas and discredit it. And you're talking about Uchiwali's hot because of the beat, clearly. You know what I mean? Like, so you don't care about words, right?
The beat crazy, though.
Yeah, the beat is crazy. And she said that. She was like, I'm freestyle over that. Actually, let me play this shit real quick. It's less than a minute. Let me play this so the people
I really don't agree with you giving that whole airtime. Straight up.
6 albums in 2 years with Hit Boy. She said, fuck the sales, all this. I'm a dude, just my hip hop. We not doing it for the numbers. We not doing it. And still sold out the Garden for the first time with an album with Hit Boy.
Only you knew that. I didn't know that.
He sold out Madison Square Garden.
That's cool. That's great. But he's not
about
saying
Nas like he's underground. Like this is If I Ruled the
Nas
World with
is
Lauryn
great,
Hill.
but
This is Hate Me Now with Diddy. Like this is you.
She said Nas is great, but no, ain't no but, nigga.
He did Ether. He did Hot Boys with Missy. Like. The dude's catalog is undeniable.
Yeah. No, Uchiwali was crazy though. I gotta do that beat. I'm a freestyle to that beat when I get a chance.
Uchiwali is crazy. Disrespect. My man is a lyricist. He's a storyteller, and then he just challenges the way that you think, and he doesn't always follow the trends. He sets the trend.
This is a journalist telling artists this.
That's not a journalist, Mike.
You dress like Nas right now.
It's not a journalist.
What was that?
I said you dress like Nas, just like right now. You dress just like him.
You talking about
Tims, suede Tims on your feet. Hate me now, Tierra.
No, I respect that. I respect that.
Tierra.
But Nas is not in my top 10.
Wow. See, I got Nas over Jadakiss for the fact that I don't think Jadakiss has.
How did Kiss even become part of the conversation?
catalog. I don't think Jadakiss is nice.
I get what y'all doing, but if we put a beat on right now, Jadakiss is going
Mike,
to
everybody done heard it, man. Cut that weak shit off, man, please.
Coop can't take it. Oh, no.
Cut that weak shit off, for real.
Hold on. Not everybody has heard. Hold on.
No, everybody has heard that shit, Mike. Everybody who follows heard that weak ass shit.
We're not on that right now. We're trying to just rap.
Did a story in reverse.
Yeah.
Everybody done heard that shit. That's that bullshit. They don't know what they doing.
Dot with the super chat says, why would you try to come for me? Why you ain't proud of Nas?
So this is where it becomes problematic for us, like all jokes aside, because it's like, oh, well, y'all just gonna take up for Nas. It's like, you simple motherfuckers. We all supposed to be taking up for him. We supposed to take up for Nas. We supposed to take up for Jay, Big, Pac, KRS, Rakim,
Cube,
Cool G Rap, Cube, Kane, Wayne.
When it comes to the work, you know what I mean? At the end of the day,
we're supposed to take up for them. To quote Nas, these are our heroes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's deeper than the person, right? Like the work that's been put in, you know what I'm saying? And obviously the person is a legitimate individual who's coming from a place that, you know, you're supposed to. Like if you talk about somebody who embodies hip hop and all of its elements and what it's supposed to be about and the range and all that, you got Pac, Nas, whatever. But the work should stand on its own. And what I hear here is the work being discredited, the actual craft being discredited.
My brothers did security for Tupac one time in Atlanta before he passed.
Mm-hmm.
They know how much I love Pac. My twin brothers. They was like, yo, Coop, he was a fucking asshole to us. And I looked right back at him. I was like, he's still one of the greatest MCs of all time.
That
you know what they said? They said, yep, he sure is one of the greatest MCs of all time. Because him being a fucking asshole ain't got nothing to do with the work.
Yeah.
And so for them to call something like Rewind boring.
Or just to say like, well, how does the verse go? Or something like that. Like, well, no, you need to go listen to it.
You need to check yourself before you wreck yourself, like Ice Cube said, is what you need to do. Because really what it speaks to is this microwave culture that they exist in, where they actually feel free enough to say that.
I have a problem, too, with the fact that
they felt free to say that. Like, they thought it was okay to say that.
She also thought it was okay to say, you're the only person that knew that he did the garden. You should be ashamed of yourself as a hip hop artist, as somebody who follows hip hop, and you didn't know this was going on.
That's a 90-minute flight to the garden from Philly. Motherfucker, you knew.
Exactly. That's the thing. Like, let's not sit here and act like, you know what? If anything, you knew Hit Boy was putting together these albums. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't follow Nas like that, you follow Hit Boy. Because Hit Boy's in their generation. But to sit here and act like you didn't know these things were happening, that's coming from another place.
It's got industry plant written all over it, quite frankly, Mike.
OG Winston with the super chat says, peace, fellas. How y'all feeling about the Jeezy album?
We're going to
get the Jeezy.
We're going to get the Jeezy after we put these motherfuckers in their place.
Anthony Davis with the $20 super chat showing love. He says, Coop, you spitting facts. CJ Kidd with the super chat says,
what I'm doing.
Coop's on that Malcolm X flow today with the smoke. Don't let the hate raise your blood temperature, guys.
This is not hate. This is ignorance. There's a difference. Like, if it was hate, I would be okay with it.
Yeah.
Because hate comes when you're great. I'm going to tell you what, Mike. You know, I'm managing a restaurant downtown again. A lot of people who I used to know from a whole nother life have been coming in to see me. And I can tell that they've been uncomfortable when they see me because they've talked about me. You feel what I'm saying? It's like, oh shit, Coop, I didn't know that you was in here. It's like, yeah, I bet your gossiping hating ass don't. No. I get the hate because I'm great. This is ignorance manifested. And that's why I'm upset. I'm tired of us in this culture being ignorant about our own damn culture and about our own legends who are literally walking around doing material that you're never going to do in your fucking life. Like, fuck a Illmatic and It Was Written. These niggas is never going to make King's Disease 2. Like Magic, King's Disease 3, and Magic 3 isn't even a level that they can fucking hit. It Was Written and Illmatic is so far out of their reach. Stillmatic, Lost Tapes is so far out of their reach. It's like, motherfucker, you can't even make King's Disease 2. Shut the fuck up.
And, you know, it's
all the way. It's ignorance.
It's so sad that our legends are walking around, and our legends that are actually active, they should be getting adulation from all over the place, but they're getting not like you said, it's not even hate, it's ignorance. You're choosing to not understand what's going on. So do you not know what Freddie Gibbs is doing out here? And a person could sell out the Garden.
Ooh, stop.
You know what I mean? Like,
stop.
Because we're living in a time now where it's like, okay, if you're saying you didn't know that the Garden thing was going on, you didn't know about these 6 albums or whatever, well, is the only thing you listen to Drake?
Pause.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
First
like,
of all, did a Drake run and an Eminem run this weekend. Both catalogs are vastly underrated. Another conversation for another day.
Eminem's underrated?
Catalog's underrated.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be a great conversation.
Another day, Mike. Another day. Eminem's catalog's underrated. Another conversation.
Yeah, we can
It's
do
another
that.
conversation for
Have
another
a full
day.
show on that.
Right. Mike, I played Soul Soul separately this weekend. First of all, Soul Soul separately came out this year, would be the album of the year probably.
For sure.
Even over Magic 3.
For sure. I agree.
Possibly. Magic 3 is growing on me. I think Magic 3 is probably a better body of work. But as far as like we're picking an album for a year that's because part of picking an album of the year has to be reflective of the times.
Of the year, yeah.
Correct. It's of the year, not of all time, not an all-time ranking, because things change, go up and down. Like, Mike, The Greatest Adventures of Slick Rick wasn't a top 10 rap album all time when it came out. Feel me? Fucking might be now still. Feel me?
Yeah.
These motherfuckers can't make Soul Soul separately.
Or they haven't.
No, they can't. You do what you can.
You don't think Symba can?
No, I don't. You do what you can. And this is what I'm saying. Y'all can't make Soul Soul separately by Gibbs. You're definitely not making Alfredo. Bandana, Pinata. If you could, guess what you would do? You would make it. But you can't. So you might, Mike, they might well sit our ass down next to us and fucking be podcasters and do critiques. Like, I can probably out-rap these niggas still.
Peter Parks with the super chat says,
whack.
These people are just examples of industry antics. Their music isn't working, so they're leaning on clickbait.
That's what I'm saying, Mike. It's like, no, that's why I be making, like, this the shit. How about this? When I heard that, it was like, man, they make me want to rap again. Because the way that they're talking, they might as well be doing my job, and I might as well pick the pen back up and start doing theirs, because I'm pretty certain I can roast these niggas. So they definitely got no business talking about Nas. And they don't got no business, and this is what I mean, I don't like it for Kiss. They had no business fucking dragging Kiss into this. Because Kiss is an all-time great too. But what you have to do is when people like them, who don't know what they're talking about, start talking shit, well then we have to place Kiss appropriately too. And then I have to go pull up shit like Show Discipline and John Blaze and play those records. And like, when the fuck did you ever think Jadakiss was better than Nas? Because he damn sure smoked them at the beginning of his debut album. And he damn sure smoked them on the biggest posse cut they were both on together.
So today you're going to do a top 5.
Smoked them.
You're going to do a top 5 Nas features. Now, let me ask you this.
Jadakiss doesn't even have 5 memorable features like the one I'm about to name. And this is Kiss we're talking about.
So I know you were down to do like a Nas features versus a Jay-Z features. Do you think that Nas features even trumps Jadakiss's features? Because that's what Jada is known for, right?
Okay, respectfully, this is what I'm saying about how I don't like doing this because I love Kiss.
I love Kiss too, but we got to be honest.
Like, I love Kiss.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna give me my ass cap or get your ass capped is one of my favorite one-liners ever. That's off the Funk Flex 2. For you motherfuckers who don't know, who really aren't heads claiming to be like, since you want to talk about Kiss, you better know Kiss shit in and out when you talking about Kiss too. Mike, he don't got no fucking verbal intercourse verse. He don't have no fucking live at the barbecue. He just doesn't, Mike.
Well, what is Jada's top 5 features, you think?
What's his most memorable feature, Mike? See how you had to pause?
No, I'm thinking, man.
No, you can, but
Made You Look was the first one that I thought of.
So his best feature is on some Nas shit.
Possibly. Hold on.
I love that. Why put you in a verse when I could put you in a coroner van?
I'm trying to think. What is Jada's?
Cold.
I mean, the Big Business feature was dope, but it's not.
The pop bottle shit, start with straight shots, and then, like the shit that they took from him. Is that
this is the thing with Jada?
But
Jada is very consistent.
He's wild. He's the most.
He is consistent.
He's the most consistent 16-bar verse MC we've ever seen, as far as just 16.
Give me Method Man.
No,
I'm sorry.
It's beyond meth.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man.
He's done more work and he's been more
He's done more work.
And he's been more consistent.
Meth is more outstanding. He's been more consistent. He's more consistent.
No.
He's more consistent than everybody.
You're talking about outstanding.
Okay.
You're talking about the peak.
Because where's his shadow boxing?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. He doesn't have a shadow boxing. He doesn't have a verbal intercourse. His thing is the remarkable amount of consistent bars that he gives you out. Like Black Illuminati. The what? To bring up Gibbs, Black Illuminati. It's like, oh no, it's another Kiss, a Stellar Kiss verse. Oh, Gods Don't Bleed. It's another Stellar Kiss verse. No, the Stellar Kiss verses are everywhere. Now tell me how many of them that get remembered in this hip hop culture is iconic.
Where was he at on John Blaze, in your opinion?
4th best verse.
Okay.
First of all, this is what I'm talking. Like, first of all, and I've always said this about John Blaze. I'm not big on John Blaze all time as a posse cut like everybody else, because after Nas and Pun get done on the mic,
it's a drop off.
It's a drop off. And then
I think the order could have been different.
Oh, they definitely should. They definitely should have put Nas and Ray together and put Pun and Kiss together.
You cool with Fat Joe going like? I mean, it's his song.
It's his song.
Yeah.
Just like LL on the I Shot Your remix. It's his song. Close. I don't have a problem with you closing. I have a problem with y'all trying to put Kiss next to Nas, because then we got to talk about everything that Kiss is not next to Nas. And I don't like that for Kiss, because then we don't get to hold him up as high as we should, because these fuck niggas is running around doing fuck ass shit, Mike.
We can still hold him high. And
he's
for
high,
what he's great at.
He's not in a, Mike, Jadakiss is not in the GOAT conversation.
No.
So when you're talking about Nas, no.
I would have a hard time.
Respectfully, Biggie, Tupac, Scarface, Ice Cube.
I would have a hard time actually putting
No.
Jadakiss over a T.I. or a Wayne. I mean, I would have a hard time doing that based on the catalog.
The catalog is where he's going to lose.
Yeah.
But how about this? It's going to be hard to put him over a KRS-One.
Oh, man, no. He's not going over KRS. See? No.
You see how, Mike, you look like you were disrespected when I said that.
Yeah. He doesn't have the word. I mean, his consistency is incredible. But like you said,
for 16 bars, his consistency is incredible.
Of course. But yeah, when we talk, you ain't got criminal minded. You don't have sex, drugs, and violence.
I'm sorry, Mike. He doesn't have Return of the Boom Bap.
No, like
Return of
we
the Boom
gotta
Bap,
respect the work, man.
No, fuck that. Not fuck it. That Boogie Down production stuff, Mike. He doesn't have Return of the Boom Bap. He doesn't have Sound of the Police. He doesn't have a Black Cop.
Facts.
He doesn't have a I'm a blunt getting smoked and I can't wake up. He doesn't have that.
Shout out to Ron Bay in the building. I see Ron Bay over here in the chat. CJ Kid with the super chat says, "Do it, Coop. Put out that re-release of Souls of Black Folks and show them."
These niggas is wild for talking this way. Them and the punk ass niggas that put them up to it. Because somebody put them up to this.
It feels like that. And we'll say that.
I want to know who put you up to this.
That's
nigga.
what it feels like. You know what I mean? And we'll close on that. But yeah, it doesn't. It's based on their tweets from 10 years ago.
People be
this
like,
feels like, you know, you guys know of Nas's
people
catalog.
People be like, why you be so hard on niggas? Because niggas be doing dumb shit, and we need to call it for what it is.
Yeah.
Stop doing dumb shit in this culture.
What we do in hip hop, we just let shit ride and don't say anything about it. And then even when we speak on it, people are like, oh man, don't give that no attention. No, you have to give this stuff attention. And because like my man Star said, a lie unchecked becomes the truth.
Correct. How about this? If you can't spit the bars to New York State of Mind off the top of your head, which I'm pretty sure none of the three of them can do, then you need to shut the fuck up. You don't know Nas's catalog. That's the first song we ever heard from him. You feel what I'm saying? It's like people who don't even know the catalog and don't even really check the rhyme now think because they done made them a little money and got a little fame and sitting in some sort of chair, they think they get to audit the circumstances. And you can't just check them about it, Mike, in these times. You have to obliterate and eviscerate them like I am doing right now. You can't just be nice to them and be like, oh, well, they didn't know what they were talking about.
Oh, they know.
No, you know what the fuck you was doing. You need to apologize. You need to shut the fuck up until you know better and stop dragging Jadakiss into it, because that's not fair to Kiss.
And then also, the other thing that we need to do too, it's not a flex to say that you can't name 5 Nas songs. That's a reflection on you.
That shows how poor. That shows what a poor student you are.
Yeah.
In this hip hop culture.
Yeah. That's like a nigga getting in the NBA, man. Like, nigga, who's Kareem?
Mike.
You know, there was a skyhook. Like, what's that shit?
In a class of 30 people in high school, one person is gonna have the top score in the class, and one person is gonna have the bottom score in the class, because that's just how the grades go.
Yep.
I'm just tired of the niggas with the bottom scores getting the most run. They some bottom score ass niggas. Like, we just heard 28, 29, and 30 of the class. Can we talk to the motherfuckers that scored highest in the class? And here's where I respect somebody like a Joe Budden. Oh, no, Budden knows his rap shit.
Of course.
And so even though Budden may not agree, and he made some takes sometimes that are like not on par, his history, his bar work for when he was an MC, it speaks to somebody who knows his shit.
Exactly.
That's why he was the main creator and thriver in this space.
Yeah.
These just some new niggas who don't know shit, Mike.
Yeah. And honestly, man, they're putting the fact that they don't know shit on the individual that they don't know shit about. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, we're not asking people to go out there and you have to have certain people in your top 10, whatever. But if for whatever reason you don't, hopefully you're educated enough where you can explain why this person isn't in your top 10. Because you know what? If somebody came to me right now and was like, you ain't got Andre 3000 in your top 10, I'll be like, no, and this is why.
You can't. Like, that's what I'm saying.
This is why.
When it comes to some people, Mike, for where we are in this culture and in this space, a Nas, a Jay, a KRS, a Rakim, an Ice Cube, a Scarface. It's like, oh no, if you're going to say something, Mike, you better have a whole dissertation on why it hasn't happened with fundamental thesis, breakdown, points, annotated notes. I want a fucking bibliography of where you got this shit from. Like, I want it to be academic because I want you to take it seriously if you're going to slander somebody like that. Because here's the thing about it, and I hate this shit, and I learned this shit from Taj. He don't need no taking up for. He's the GOAT.
Yeah.
But why don't you just treat him like the GOAT instead of doing this dumbass shit? You feel me? Like
where's it coming from?
Like, what within you? No, fuck where it's coming from. We know it's some sucker shit about where it's come from. What within you, as a person, as a human being, that wants to take part in this culture and says that you love this culture, would ever get off on saying something like that?
Exactly.
There's something wrong with black people when we do that shit, Mike. I don't know how else to say it. That's why I brought up the whole Beatles, Rolling Stones, Bono, Mick Jagger, Paul McCartney, Freddie Mercury. They don't have those issues, Mike, because when they don't agree, they'd be like, man, that's Freddie Mercury. I'm gonna shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
That's Paul McCartney. I'm gonna shut the fuck up. That's Mick Jagger and the Rolling Stones. I'm gonna shut the fuck up because that's Mick Jagger and the Rolling. That's iconic to our culture. I'm not gonna break my culture down with my bullshit ass views.
And in the words of the great Jay-Z, nigga, respect the game. That should be it. That's it.
Nigga, in the word of Jadakiss, I can see why Pac ain't like none of y'all cowards. Right.
Imagine what they'd be saying about Pac if he was still here.
No, imagine what Tupac would be saying if somebody tried to say some shit like this about him while he was here.
Well, you know, we had to draw down on T-Pain when he tried to pull that shit on Pac, too.
I don't fuck with T-Pain no more.
Brian with the super
Not
chat
about to
says...
talk about Tupac up in here with your auto-tuning ass.
Brian with the super chat says, Coop, you said Magic 3 is classic. If SSS would be album of the year this year over Magic 3, are you saying that SSS is a classic or is Magic 3 not classic anymore?
I mean, Mike, when I played SSS the other day, it's like, man, this shit phenomenal.
It is phenomenal.
My biggest problem with SSS is that Alfredo can't. Matter of fact, you know what SSS? SSS has some, not the same level, but since we're talking about, there's some It Was Written going on with SSS.
I think, yeah, SSS like, is going to get better over time.
Right. It's like, well, the biggest problem with SSS is that we just heard Alfredo. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, and the fact that we got KD3 in that year, too.
KD. How about this? For people that think that KD3 is better than Magic 3,
I don't.
I think that you're right, but I think you're only right now.
I feel what you're saying.
I'm a big picture thinker, and I do look at Magic 3 the way that I look at It Was Written, in the sense that it's like, oh no, the growth of Magic 3 is going to grow the way It Was Written grew. When It Was Written came out, people was like, what is Nas doing? I was like, I don't know what you talking about. That's some of the best shit I've heard in my life. Like, literally when it came out, I was like, that's one of the best rap albums I ever heard. The fuck are you talking about? And now 20 years later, it's like, oh, that's one of the best rap albums ever. It's like, it was one of the best rap albums ever when it came out. And I think that's the same thing that's going to happen with Magic 3. And that's why I say it's like, oh no, Soul Sold separately this year kind of like, oh, I don't know what ATLiens or a Reasonable Doubt in 96, but it's like when I go back and listen to Reasonable Doubt and ATLiens, it's like, no, I don't feel like they're better than it was written.
Anthony Davis with the super chat says, will you guys touch on the D1 and Ross back and forth? Sure. You want to touch on that now? Might as well. That's where people want us to go. What, you want to go somewhere else?
No, I don't want to go anywhere else. Let's go. Get the fuck out of here.
Gotta listen to the people.
No, I'm tired. Like, I don't even like giving these whack ass niggas that did this shit the type of airtime. They don't deserve this shit. Make a classic album. How about that? Make a classic song. Get the fuck off of YouTube with us. We on YouTube, nigga. We some retired rappers that never made it. Like, you made it? You on YouTube rapping? Shame on you, weak ass niggas.
So yes, D1 had some criticisms about the fact that Meek Mill is the face of prison reform, but in the newest song with Meek Mill.
Is that what he said?
Well, no. Let me finish. In the song with Ross and Meek said something about, drive-by or something like that, right? And he feels like the content at some point has to change. And then Ross came with a response. It was basically telling D1 that, like, these are all the things we do in our community, because Jim Jones got pulled in this as well, for whatever reason.
How?
Because D1 said that Jim Jones, Meek Mill, and Rick Ross need to do better with their lyrical content, right? And so Ross took that as what they're doing in their community. And so Ross came back with a rebuttal and was like, look, we done gave 20,000 turkeys. Are you doing this in your community? Kind of challenging him on what he's done in his community. And, and then D1 came with another response where he said all the stuff that he's doing in his community, but he was like, Ross is missing the point. It's about lyrical content. He's like, it's great that you're doing positive things in the community, but at what point does the content and the material change? Now, do you think that, what's up? What are your thoughts?
Why the fuck is this nigga going to Ross and Meek for lyrical content? Where the fuck is this nigga been? I'm at the bomb on everybody today.
Well, no, D1 makes stuff. No. He be out here. Nah, he be out here.
Man, he out here with this one too. Yeah, everybody catching a bad one today. Lauryn gonna catch a bad one. This nigga D1 about to catch a bad one. Everybody catching a bad one today. Because let me tell you,
I don't think D1's too wrong. I think both of them have good
I don't think he has a point. Because here's my point. I ain't never heard nobody going to Meek Mill and Rick Ross for some upper tier lyricism that's gonna uplift this community. I'm gonna tell you what Anthony Hamilton told me one time, Mike, when I went to see him backstage. He from the west side of Charlotte too. Shout out west side of Charlotte, Clanton Park. That's Anthony Hamilton too. Anthony Hamilton looked at me one time when I was a young artist and he said, there's room for everybody on that stage. Everybody that's here ain't gonna be a social commentator like a Nas or a Tupac.
Mm-hmm.
So for you to try to single out Meek and Ross, it's like, when the fuck have I gone to them for social commentary? Play the beat and shut the fuck up. Him too.
I think that's fair.
He's requiring stuff from people that never did that to begin with. And you're asking for a change from people who never did that to begin with. Mike, and we've talked about this with Ludacris, Mike. What happened to Ludacris when Ludacris started getting content heavy?
Yeah, with Runaway Love. I don't want to hear that from Luda, personally.
Motherfucker, I wish Rick Ross would try to talk to me the way Nas or Tupac does. Mike, I'm out if he does that.
LP with the super chat says,
cut on Summer 17 with Yo Gotti and let's ride out.
LP with the super chat says, why you want to come for me? Why you ain't proud of Nas? DFW Herbie with the super chat says, we've normalized murder and drug dealing that much. This is what I feel. And I see where D1's coming from when it comes. Oh, let me finish. I see where D1's coming from when it comes to Meek Mill being the face of prison reform. And I do think that once you kind of delve into those worlds in your personal life, at some point you would like to see some of that translate through the music, because your image is being put out there for these stances, right? One of the things that I thought was interesting is when Meek was on CNN, I believe it was, and they asked Meek, and they were all talking about prison reform, this, that, and the third, and Trump was still in office. And so, I mean, I'm sorry when any of them are in the office, right?
They all sorry.
And whoever the host was, I forgot who it was, he asked Meek if he, what his thoughts were on the work that Trump was doing for prison reform. He did a lot at that time, right?
Let a lot of niggas off. That don't mean he's doing work.
And Meek said, I don't follow politics. And I'm like, how do you get on CNN and say you don't follow politics? That's like getting on ESPN and saying you don't follow sports.
That's what I'm saying, though, Mike. It's Meek.
But
it's not like Tupac
is he not the face of prison reform, though?
To who? That's what I'm saying. Is Meek Mill the face of prison reform to you?
Well, to the hip hop, he's marketed in that way. Yes, they have full documentaries about it and everything.
Really?
Yeah. You haven't seen those?
Fuck no.
That's his redemption story. You gotta catch up on that.
I just be seeing him on a yacht chilling with Bob Kraft. I'm like, I'm glad that nigga got out.
Well,
Cheers.
Well, that's about prison reform too.
I be happy when niggas get out
because they have the Reform Alliance. So he is there with Kraft and with the other, what's his name, the owner of the Sixers. They're doing that for the prison reform stuff. That's how they got connected.
So let me get this right. Tupac gets to make I Get Around and Keep Your Head Up. But Meek Mill can't talk about prison reform and be a reform gangster who still talks about gangster shit. Is that what we're saying?
I think he's asking for some balance, though. You know what I mean?
I mean, okay. All fairness. Did Meek's last album have some balance, though? Because I feel like part of the reason why the album wasn't as good, because it actually had some balance. And he actually was speaking to some of those things. And also, too, to quote Dr. Dre, this is entertainment, Mike. So,
quoting Dr. Dre.
so what you do in your personal life doesn't necessarily have to mirror your professional life. What I do in my professional life, Mike, doesn't always mirror my personal life. I get to be two different things. I get to have more than one face. I get to have many layers. That's part of the veil that W.E.B. Du Bois has been talking about, has been disseminating through this black culture for literally a couple of centuries now. Because of this racist ass society that we live in, we have many faces. We live behind the veil. So I'm okay with Meek doing his thing the same way I was okay with Pac screaming thug life and wanting to empower black women. Yeah, you do get to do all the things because we're disenfranchised here.
You think he does all the things, though?
Not like Tupac, but what I'm saying is that for where we've been placed in this society and for the little bit of the demographic that we make up, no, we get to be whoever the fuck we want to be, and we got to stop being so judgmental of each other.
You don't think that they could do better? Because that was what D1 actually
We
said.
could all do better.
We all could do better.
I could do better today, but about these niggas, guess what, Mike? Not about to ride on these niggas today. We can get to my social commentary another day. Today, I want to check all these fuck niggas.
DFW
That's what's
Herbie.
going on today. You do what the situation calls for when you are black and in this country. Right. What Meek is doing musically is how he feeds his family. He's doing what he has to do to continue doing that.
Meek did say that, you know, you get paid more to make ignorant shit. He did say that. Those are Meek's quotes.
Cause Mike, it's quotes, but it's also true.
Well, I mean, that's his experience. Like he's in the game. He know what it is.
How about this? If he goes talking about prison reform on his albums, well, that is not a financially sound move. Because he is not, listen to what I'm saying, even though he's been through it, that's personal. That's what I'm trying to say. People are trying to take what Meek went through personally and make it professional. It's not. The prison reform that he's talking about is something personal that happened to him as a black man here in this society.
You don't think that his experience could translate, you know, musically and be powerful, just as powerful as the documentary and everything was?
And this is why I'm bringing up Tupac. Mike, most of Tupac's social commentary left when he got out of prison.
Yeah.
The social commentary lessened when he got out of prison.
That's true.
Because he understood that in order for him to really create some sort of change, he had to give motherfuckers what they wanted.
Top down.
He literally said, I'm going to spoon feed them and then flip the game on them.
DFW Herbie with the super chat says, D1 ain't telling Ross and them to rap about sophisticated issues, but he's questioning why he raps about murder. That's a good question. Leroy Green with the super chat says,
because niggas in Philly be getting murdered and that's where he's from. That's why I'm saying when D1 says something like that, it's like you're missing the whole plight of black people, where that part of the reality should never escape somebody like a Meek Mill, no matter how much money he makes or no matter how much prison reform goes on. Is niggas still in the street getting murdered in Philly? Yeah.
But it's different to glorify those things. You know what I mean? And
is he glorifying it, or is he just speaking the truth about what's going on, Mike?
I don't think that he would come at him in that way if he was just speaking the truth on what's going on. I think that there's
how did he know?
Glorification there.
Is a nigga D1 out in the streets?
I mean, yeah. I mean, from
doing
what he says. I mean, doing work.
Then
he says everything that he's been doing.
Let me tell you what, Mike. I got an artist that actually works at my job. He's street dude. He works in the back. One of his homies literally just made the news. Literally made the news. Like, he literally just got murdered down there in fucking Lakewood, and it made Fox 5 News. And he like, Coop, that's my homie. I mean, this is somebody I plan on bringing on the show. He's like, that's my homie. And he's like the footage shows.
That's sad.
No, the footage shows where he's in the car with dude, and dude starts firing at him. And he gets and grabs his book bag and goes inside the store. And he has his gun on him and shit and whatnot. Now, my man is telling me that fam is a goon. You know what I'm saying? And I looked at the video and I told him, I was like, well, your man got shot at. And he ain't shoot fam back. I was like, so respectfully to him, I'm sorry he's not here, but he's also not who you said he was. So like, yeah, that shit's still really going on out here. And that's what I'm talking about, is this nigga D1 really in the streets? Because it's like, I just had to tell my young nigga, like, nah, like, I understand that that's your dude and you thought he was a goon. I was like, but I'm watching on camera, watching on the news, and it's like, you telling me, I was like, no, I was like,
Leroy
that's
Green.
What's really going on. So D1 need to shut the fuck up, Mike. Right. Because
Scoop is on one tonight.
Yeah, ain't nobody getting no hall passes. They tired of these niggas talking shit about what they don't know. That nigga D1,
he was just asking for some positivity in hip-hop.
If he asking for some positivity in hip-hop, Mike, there's plenty of positivity to be had in hip-hop. You don't have to attack Meek Mill.
I think that I see where both guys are coming from.
We live in an era, Mike, where it's like, well, if you want to hear something positive, I mean, Mike, somebody who's been on this show, Love the Genius, talks about a lot of positive things. Mm-hmm. If you want to hear some more positive hip hop, go listen to Love.
Could you not ask for positivity from, some of the heavy hitters in hip hop?
Meek's not a heavy hitter like that, Mike. That's why I'm saying. Is Meek? How about this? Is Meek Mill looked at like a Nas or a Jadakiss?
No, but I think
or Rick Ross?
He's a notable individual, though.
Mike, this game is full of notable individuals. That's what I'm saying. Like, don't single that man out to sit up there and make your shit go viral. I'm tired of the sucker shit.
I feel what you're saying. The timing of it kind of feels
you tried to make Meek a target. That's fuck nigga shit. You tried to make Meek a target. That's fuck nigga shit.
Even if that is the case, is there no level of validity to, wanting to get more from somebody who, is in the political sphere like Meek is?
What he is saying is fundamentally valid. But what I'm trying to explain to you is that that's Meek's job as a man. His profession is rapper and entertainer. So stop trying to expect that man. Like, how about this? How many times have you heard, don't bring your work life home? So I guess he's supposed to bring his home life to work.
I think that's what we expect from our artists, is keeping it real, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like you bring your life to the craft. That's why, Pac is held so hot.
Right, correct, Mike. But respectfully, that's not always true. I'm going to tell you something.
It's not.
I love me some Tribe Called Quest, Mike. I know nothing about any of them dudes personally. I've been listening to them since I was literally about 8 years old.
It's entertainment.
We know nothing about Tribe Called Quest. Mike, tell me what you know. Q-Tip might be your favorite artist. I want you to tell me 5 things you know about his personal life right now.
I know that his father passed from emphysema before he blew up.
I said him.
But that's part of his life. But you know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying, Mike. Like, listen to the things that you're saying. Like, the first thing that you said, you had to mention his father. You don't know that much about Q-Tip personally, because Q-Tip don't give us that much personally.
That's true.
And we're perfectly okay with that.
That's true.
So why is it okay for Q-Tip to do it, but it's not okay for Meek?
Because I think that Tribe never glorified murder. That,
correct.
Let me say this.
Correct. So
because I don't want to take what D1. I don't want to take what D1 said out of context, because what he said is the fact that he's against hip hop artists glorifying murder, and he feels like Meek has done that, and and I can't knock the fact that he doesn't want rappers to glorify murder on records. I mean, you know.
I don't either, Mike. Do you think, Mike, I mean, you know me. For who I am, do you think I want to hear about black men murdering other black men?
I would hope not. No, right. But I don't think you do.
But the reality of the rap sphere is that, I mean.
How do we change those things?
Mike, I used to make a joke when I was in college. My freshman year of college is when the Locks made We Are the Streets. I was like, is there anybody left in Yonkers? They just bodied everybody on this album.
Right.
You feel me? Like I said that jokingly. It's like, no. They just killed half of Yonkers on this album. I was like, but also understood it's like, no, it's entertainment. And these dudes are young. Now look at who Styles is now as a man.
It's growth.
Right.
But to play devil's advocate here, is D1 possibly not pushing Meek to grow?
It ain't what you do. It's how you do it.
For sure.
And in this community, when we be asking our stars to grow, the media be doing it on some sucker shit, and that's my problem today. It don't be with no real integrity or moral compass. It seems, much like the previous topic, like those people that are trying to require more of other people are doing it for their own selfish personal gain. And at that point, it's like, well, who the fuck are you? You're not doing it because you care. You're really doing it because you know it's going to attract attention to help what you're trying to do. I've never heard D1 talk about the plight of black people like that. Have you?
I have. Yeah.
Have you seen what social reforms is he involved in his community?
He's doing a lot, and you know what? I don't look off the top of my head because no. I wouldn't say I'm not gonna play that game because I just said that about Tierra and those and Symba. Man. Just because I don't know it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Man, what I can do is go back and do the research, and for the next show I could give you a laundry list of what this man's done because I know he's active out there. So I'm not going to discredit what he's done and what he's doing because I just don't know. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I don't have a problem with anybody who cares about the community pushing others to do better. But I will say this. I do agree with the fact that if you're doing it in a way where it seems like you're downing another person for attention, then that's not the best way to do it.
Well, Mike, how did this just really come off? Because here's what I'm saying. There's a way that you can do things. And if you're really that concerned with the community, you don't have to call nobody else out. I'm going to tell you something that I do down at my job. I was actually talking to my mother about this. As a manager, Mike, I get free food every night. I give my food to the homeless a lot of the times. I never tell a soul because that's my walk. Yeah. That's my journey. I don't need the next man to go be like me, for him to be an active participant in this community, and for me to show this man some respect. And so when these niggas be talking, it's like, nah, real G's really do move in silence like lasagna. And these niggas be too loud when they be calling out other people. It's like, no, I serve my community all the time, and I don't say a fucking word about it or tell anybody. Until now, the only person that even knew outside of the people down at my job that know I will literally take plates and boxes of food out to the homeless is my mama, Mike. And I literally just told my mama, and it would just happen in casual conversation. I was like, it's like, if we got extra food, I'll walk out on the block right quick and see who's hungry and da. No, that's my role. That's my job. Everybody got a role in a job. And Mike, everybody's job is not to uplift the community. It's not.
But they are. They're doing it. You know what I'm saying? And I will say this, and we'll move on.
There's gangsters in the community, Mike.
Yeah, and I appreciate the fact that guys are going back and forth about how much they can do and how they can do better in the community. That's better than beefing about some stupid shit.
It is, but Mike, I mean, and I'll tell you this, and then we can move on. What I'm tired of hearing, and I've been saying this for years. Remember the whole Stephen A. Smith, Boyce Watkins thing? And I was like, yo, Mike, I don't like it because I don't like them calling each other out publicly. Have a conversation behind closed doors.
Yeah, for sure.
If it's that important to you, D1, pick up the phone and call me.
Well, hopefully they will have that conversation.
No.
Now.
Why didn't that conversation happen first? Because what I know as a black man is that if you're not willing to have that conversation behind closed doors first, I do need to question your intentions. Because here's the thing. I'm not giving food to the homeless, Mike, to make myself look like a better person or man to the community. I'm doing it because in my heart, my spirit, I feel compelled to. Because for me, it's the right thing to do. If I want somebody else to do the same thing, the way to get them to do it is not to call them out. It's to have a conversation with them.
Well, he could have been on the microphone, been on one, whatever. I will say this. People make mistakes, you know what I mean? And at this point, if D1 does have that conversation with them behind closed doors and be like, you know what?
Now he probably don't want to talk to him though, Mike, and that's the problem.
Knowing the individual I know in D1, I'm pretty sure he would. And I'm pretty sure he would also say, you know what? I shouldn't have called y'all out like that, whatever. And move forward from there.
If he didn't pick up the phone and call Meek first, he need to pick up the same way that he did and talked about it and be like, hey, you want to know what? I should have called him man to man first and address those issues before I took those issues public.
Right.
Because when you take those issues like that public, it really does look like you just want notoriety and want clout more than you want change. Not saying that you don't want change. All I'm saying is that
it's about how you do it.
Mike, how many times I'm going to say this? When black men get money and power, they have a frightening tendency to behave like they're oppressors. This is another prime example of it, because if you love that brother and you really want that brother to change, you'll pick up the phone and fucking find a way to call him before you'll go live with some shit like that. Nah, fam, you did that shit for clicks and views, and a real nigga know.
We did it on Sway's show.
I don't give a fuck where he did it. Did he call Meek first?
I'm just saying. He did it on Sway's show. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like for quote unquote clicks in that way. He was already on Sway's show.
Mike, what would Meek do? Papa Willie, tell the judge that Akinelli.
Leroy Green.
Out the ghost screaming Machiavelli.
Let me get to these super chats. Leroy Green with the super chat says, Coop, we would truly care about the souls of black folks, but respectfully, the blame only focusing on Ross ain't drop off 20 years of turkeys, my guy. Hold on. Coop, we know that you truly care about the souls of black folks, but respectfully, the blame only focusing on Ross ain't drop off 20 years turkeys, my guy. He don't believe Ross did 20 years of turkey. CJ Kid with the super chat says,
here nor there either.
Right. Says, Coop, what book should people read?
The Autobiography of Malcolm X and the Souls of Black Folks by W.E.B. Du Bois, and The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander.
DFW Herbie with the super chat says, music therapy exists for a reason. It affects our psychology, and glorifying black destruction doesn't negatively affect black folks. Accountability? ? It does. I mean, it is what it is.
All you niggas love Straight Outta Compton and The Infamous by Mobb Deep. Shut up. That's what I'm saying. Why can't we be all of it, Mike? Like, why do we have to pick and nobody else has to pick? And why do we hold each other to this standard where we have to choose?
There's a difference between Straight Outta Compton and Niggas for Life. And the difference is...
That's fair, but Mike, why can't I love the Low End Theory and Hell on Earth the same? Why can't I love the second album from Tribe the same way that I love the second album from Mobb Deep or the third album from Mobb Deep for totally different reasons? Why am I not allowed that as a black man in this society without it being a problem?
I will say this. And
why can't I love P's Grizzly Talk but not love... Why? Like, why is that not okay?
I will say this.
Because I damn sure seen some of the shit that he talking about. It's not okay for me to relate to that?
I think aggressive content is something that has been very kinetic in hip hop for black youth, because these men are speaking from a position of power. When you listen to Mobb Deep, feel big. You know what I'm saying? Like,
niggas like 5'3".
Exactly. And so it's like, and even with Pac, the aggressive Pac records,
Pac
it's
like
that
5'7".
It's that energy. And so we're attracted to black men speaking from a position of power. I don't think it's about the quote unquote murder and all of that, even though that's part of it and it comes with it. I think it's just speaking from a position of power. Jay-Z gets that all the time.
Mike, everybody not gonna go into prison and come out like Brother Malcolm. I'm tired of explaining this to this black community. Like, part of what makes Malcolm so special, Mike, is because it is so rare that a man like that was living that type of life comes out of prison and transform themselves into what he is. That is what makes him special.
Yeah.
And to sit up there and try to hold everybody to something even similar to that ideology, Mike, is fucking foolish.
But I have no problem with the challenge. I have no problem with the challenge.
You haven't been paying attention. You haven't been paying attention to the systematic oppression that goes on within the prison industrial complex and the fact that most people come out worse then they do better.
No,
that's what's so
true.
special about Malcolm. That motherfucker came out better. It's like something to model and aspire to, but extremely rare and very rarely happens, Mike.
But with a lot of direction as well from the nation.
And that's just not in the black community, Mike. That's just in the community in America. It's rare that you're going to go in and come out better. And we got to stop having these expectations like that's what it's supposed to be. The nigga Meek went to prison. And he went to prison, quite frankly, a lot of it was some bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Esquire with the super chat says, the point is that the media will only prop up MCs whose music celebrates conditions that lead to incarceration as hip-hop face prison reform. As the face of hip-hop prison reform. I agree with that. Do you feel where Esquire is coming from with that? The point is that the media will only prop up MCs whose music celebrates the condition that leads to incarceration as the face of hip-hop prison reform.
Mike, Esquire is making my point for me. If we know that that dynamic exists, why would we step out in public and speak against our brothers?
Ahmad with the super chat says, peace, Coop. With all due respect, didn't KRS-One change his content after Scott LaRock died? Didn't Cormega change his content with Mega Philosophy?
Rare.
You saying Meek ain't got it in him?
Hold on, listen to what I'm saying. Okay, so look, when Scott LaRock passed? 1987?
I think it was 88, 87, something like that.
Okay, so it's 2023. So you just gave me 2 instances in rap in the last 35 years. You're making my point for me. It's rare that happens. That's not, Mike, that's on the bell-shaped curve on the other side. Like I'm talking about when you're doing statistical data, it's like, no, that's the other side of the curve. Mm-hmm. Everything else usually regresses back to the mean and the norm. And usually if niggas was doing gangster shit before they went to prison, Mike, when they get out of prison, you know what they do? Some gangster shit.
Does that make it okay, though? And I understand what you're saying, but
I'm not saying it's okay. I'm saying
it's what it is.
We're stuck in a system that's really not designed for us to win or rehabilitate us. And that's the part that we as black men who, especially if you're a black man that hasn't been through that, you need to be a little bit more sympathetic. You need to be a little bit more understanding. You need to not be so quick to castigate your own in public. I'm sick of these niggas speaking out on their own in public before we're having private conversations. Period, point blank.
That's fair.
There is no excuse for it at this point.
But let's just say this, and we'll move on. I know we keep saying that. If what D1 has done, if what he has done starts the conversation and ends up in a positive, outcome, was it bad to even come from this angle in the first place? Because let's be honest, if D1 possibly was trying to reach out to Meek, via management phone, he could be getting ignored. You know what I'm saying? But
Mike,
put it on the grand stage and see what the results.
Mike, if you talk about me in front of other people before you call me, the path to us being okay is so far from us.
They don't know each other, though. That's different.
Mike, it ain't hard. It's not that hard. It's not that hard.
Well, I hope that those brothers can get it together because I think they're all great.
One of them brothers need to get it together. Meek ain't do nothing.
No. I mean, I think there's
Meek's rapping.
I think something positive can come from
this. Right. What I'm saying is Meek didn't do anything wrong. Meek is rapping the same way he's been rapping since he's been about 12 years old in Philly.
That's true.
That's what he's doing. Meek is doing what he knows. What the fuck is D1 doing?
Esquire with the super chat says, here's an analogy. How would you feel if a secular romanticizer like Usher, Maxwell, or worse, R. Kelly was the face of abstinence among the youth?
First of all, in R. Kelly's case, I mean, that's not a fair assumption. But I do get what you were saying. Mm-hmm. But here's the reality of the matter, is that we're the only culture that doesn't allow us to be all those things. That's what I'm saying. Like, we're the only culture that has those problems. You do understand that, right?
We're the only culture that has a lot of problems.
Right. But this is being one of them. It's like, no, you have to be this for us. We're the only culture that does that.
I will say this.
Nobody else
We
does
are
that.
the only culture that asks for certain people to damn near change the lives of everybody.
Right. It's
like now that you're famous, now you're responsible for black society altogether.
No. Meek has been to prison and talks about prison reform. Therefore, he's no longer not allowed to talk about all the gangster shit he's seen and done.
Right.
What the fuck does that sound like, Mike? Like, this is what I'm saying. When you do that, you sound worse than the white person doing it. Because when the white person doing it, Mike, guess what? They're white, and we know when it's coming from. When you're doing it, it's like, what's your agenda with that shit? You feel me? It's
I want to think it's all positive.
Yeah, you keep thinking that shit if you want to, Mike.
Anthony Davis with the super chat says, D1 seems to be clout chasing. He's also said that black culture allows for ratchetness, a dangerous trope that's used against black people.
Mike, we like to shake our ass. That's what I'm saying. Like, no, motherfucker. Like, Mike, a live DJ comes into my restaurant every Sunday. I be up in that motherfucker dancing, and so do my fucking staff. We like to shake our ass.
Coop is out here dancing.
It's not a dangerous trope. Motherfucker, I like to do a little Chicago two-step sometime. Kiss my motherfucking ass.
CJ Kidd with the super chat says, might be an ignorant question, but I watched Malcolm X film in 1992, and it was said that it was based off a book. Does it cover the majority of that book?
No.
There's a lot of things that were left out of that film.
It's like a 500-page book.
Yeah,
it's about 40% of it is missing.
Yeah. Esquire with the super chat says, Coop, was Malcolm X wrong for publicly questioning MLK's pacifist / nonviolent movement?
Yes.
Public accountability is warranted sometimes. D1 struck a nerve.
No. Here's where Esquire's wrong. Yes, Malcolm X was wrong. And you know who said he was wrong when they got back from the pilgrimage? Malcolm X. Read all the book, my brother. Esquire, shame on you for even saying that. Like, yes, he was wrong. And you know who the first person to say that he was wrong when he got back from his pilgrimage? Malcolm X.
Back to what I said. People make mistakes.
He literally got in front of the media and cameras and said, I take back every harsh word that I've said towards my black Christian counterparts. Did he not?
Yeah.
Right.
Back to what I said. People make mistakes. And let's give D1 an opportunity to correct it.
Tell that nigga to apologize. Just ask Kiss.
I think they can get somewhere together. You know what I mean? I think that something positive can come out of this.
If I was Meek, I'd be like, we can FaceTime it. I don't need to sit down with you right now because I can't trust you.
I mean, you know, he don't know the man like that anyway, but you know.
You don't know the man like that to be talking about that man like that.
Right. I mean,
so
I think it's more about the lyrical.
Like
I don't think it was personal. It was more about the lyrical content, but it does come across personal because it's about personal life.
Hold on. Do you want to know who he is? And he knew that it was going to travel. And about the travel.
You're right. No, 100%.
Hey, I need to get online with Meek people. Oh, Mike, best believe I don't have the numbers to a lot of people in the industry, but if I really wanted to get their number to let them know, hey, I'm about to talk some shit about you, I really could. But I don't really be in here slandering no other black man either, so I don't have to worry about that shit. Right.
Let's talk new music. Or some music.
Hey.
Okay, well, I was going to start with AZ.
We can start with AZ.
AZ's dropping a new album. Yeah. No, not Jeezy did his thing. You know what? Let's start with a single. What did you think about the Benny the Butcher and Wayne song?
I think two of the best verses I've heard this year have come from Wayne on somebody else's shit, Benny and Nas.
Is Wayne the featured artist of the year right now?
Cole.
Oh, yeah. What all has Cole done this year?
Cole's got the verse of the year with First Person Shooter, first of all.
First Person Shooter over Wayne's verse on
either one.
Nas's album.
Either one.
All right, so
I told you, first
what's
of all,
Cole's other
the
verse?
Wayne verse isn't different. The Wayne verse isn't any different or any better than the Nas verse on Icons, for one. That Benny verse is disgusting.
Yeah, Wayne did his thing on that. You know, Wayne sounds good.
Neither one of those verses is First Person Shooter, though.
Really?
No.
Huh. I'll go back and listen.
Please do.
Yeah, I'll go back and listen.
Please do. Hold on. What's the dude? Hold on, because Cole was catching flack for the verse that he did on what's the name, Fam? Like, oh, why you shadow boxing with Fam in the booth? You know what I'm talking about? What's the record he just did? Was it Uzi record?
Oh yeah, you talking about Yachty?
Yachty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he snapped on the Yachty shit too.
He did an interview with Yachty. We're gonna talk about in a second too. Esquire with the super chat says X said that after he and MLK formed an alliance,
they ain't formed no alliance yet. He died before the real alliance was formed.
But what happened after the public reprisal? MLK switched his platform from a diplomatic push for equality to a more radical agenda for economic justice.
Because also, too, how about this? They both realized that they could learn from each other.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything Dr. King was doing wasn't necessarily working towards the way he wanted to. And everything the brother Malcolm was doing wasn't working the way towards what he wanted it to. They were both murdered before it came to fruition. What a coincidence.
Yeah.
That's why it's important that you clear these things up early better than late.
Mm-hmm.
Time is not promised. So, Esquire, once again, making my point for me. And I love you, brother, but it's like, no.
What I was going to say, though, what do you think? First of all, I was surprised that this was an Alchemist produced record and not, Hit Boy, because I know they're kind of splitting off some time on this album, right?
Beat crazy, I don't care.
The beat's crazy, it is. And, obviously, same person who produced, what I'm saying, Johnny P's Caddy. So it's kind of the same formula, right? Like, because Johnny P's Caddy was first.
Okay.
Alchemist.
Cole's verse is better on Johnny P's Caddy than Wayne's verse.
It's kind of the
Big
same
Dog.
setup here, too. Which song do you think is better, Big Dog or Johnny P's Caddy?
Okay, for me personally.
You got Johnny P's Caddy.
I don't.
do. Really?
I got Big Dog. But I'm going to tell you why. Benny came through on the hook and nobody's talking about that. I'm into the nuances of things. I got excited for Benny's album, not about the song. And let's break down the song right quick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the beat is there. It's Alchemist.
Of course.
Benny's bars, there. Wayne's bars, legendary. Mike, Benny's hook game has been one of the weaker parts of his game. The hook is working for me. And about his ability to put the hook together and transition Wayne in made me more excited for his album because it made me think, and this is what I'm saying, it made me think we're about to get that real full album that we want and just not some super lyrical exercise.
Are we getting that album this year?
It made better. It made me feel like we're going to get the album from him about the hook. And J. Cole's verse on Johnny P's Caddy is better than Wayne's verse on Big Dog.
I agree with that.
So if
I agree with.
So if we're even picking who flexed on Alchemist beat the best, it's still Cole. Cole's the best feature artist of this current era right now. 2020 since we've been doing this podcast on.
Yeah.
But Wayne would be number 2, Mike.
He is.
It's Cole and Wayne.
What's interesting?
How it feel to be a Southerner?
It's interesting though, man, because Wayne.
Best 2 feature artists from the South, Mike.
Right. Wayne sounds like Wayne from like 2008, like vocally. And I didn't think he was going to sound like that again. Maybe because all the auto-tune and all that stuff that he was doing in that one period, I thought
who's to say he didn't always sound like this?
Exactly. And it's like, it's really dope to hear him sound like he did on Big Dog. You know what I'm saying?
I think he sounds that way on Icons with Nas. That's what I'm saying.
He does. That's what I'm saying.
He sounds that way
consistently.
He sounds that way on Bash Money on
He does. That's why I was drawn to that record, because I was like, yo, man, he sound like Wayne on here.
To quote Benny, sound like 07 Wayne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leroy Green with the super chat says, what we as a culture should ask for is balance in content, because asking for 100% gospel without the dark side is a process, not immediate. I agree with Leroy Green on that.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Everybody that goes to church ain't about to get the message and change their life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, you understand, like, if you go to church, like, there's still sinners in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
I'm a sinner that's probably going to sin again. Lord, forgive me. K.
I need to be alone.
K. Nikolai with the super chat says, J. Cole said, the one that they call when they shit ain't connecting no more. Feel like I got a job
in IT.
Yeah. Feel like I got a job in IT.
But right now.
Still got that as verse of the year.
But right now, I'm feeling like Muhammad Ali.
Mm-hmm. Man, he's got to have an album that gives us that umph. He has to.
I just like the fact when he talked about the fact that he was making beats and shit for himself and he wasn't really feeling it. I was like, good. Pick up the fucking phone and call everybody else.
He just need to call Hit Boy, man. I want a Hit Boy and J. Cole album.
I would love it.
Yeah.
Hit, Al.
Make that happen.
Metro. Just get.
Our producer's shaking his head no. Who do you want to hear J. Cole have a whole album produced?
Yeezy. See? I knew he was going to do that.
Oh, man. Nah, Yeezy don't count. That's not happening.
Hey, Mike, hate to be the one to break it to you. Hit Boy's the new Yeezy, production-wise. Because here's the thing about it. First of all, Both of y'all kiss my ass. You sign at the same time. That's some fucking bullshit.
Now, I love Hit Boy.
No,
and I agree
I'm not
with
finished.
I agree with certain parts of
I'm not finished. Because let me explain to you what Hit Boy does. It's exactly what Kanye does. And I didn't realize this because I went back and did a Kanye dig a couple weeks ago. I didn't tell you because you don't deserve to know.
Yeah.
You talk about this nigga too much anyway. Mike.
He's one of our greats.
Kanye's prime, much like Hit right now, you don't know who's doing the beat. And that is where he is as much like Kanye as anybody has ever been. Because when Kanye's doing the beat in his prime, you don't necessarily know he's doing the beat unless he's on the song or on the hook. But the songs that he's not on, to bring up Trina, Mike, you don't know Kanye did Be All Right.
Right.
If you didn't know, if you didn't check the credits, you wouldn't know Kanye did Be All Right. You feel what I'm saying? You wouldn't know that Kanye did the Turn It Out joint with JD and Nas on 1472.
Or Knock 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 for Monica. Yeah.
Correct. That's where Hit is very much like Kanye. So when people are talking about Hit doesn't have an identifiable sound, Mike, tell me what Kanye's identifiable sound is, because Kanye's most identifiable sound to me is a RZA hijack. So Kanye never had no identifiable sound. Now, he's made bigger records than Hit, and there's no denying that. Kanye's made bigger records than everybody, Mike, including Jay and Nas.
This is what I'll say, though. Yeah, right. As far as Hit Boy and Kanye, I agree with, the premise of what you're saying, because one thing that Hit Boy has proven that Kanye was able to prove in 2005 and beyond was the fact that he could take an established artist who already has his way of working, and he can amplify them and inspire them. I went back, and I guess once the temperature dipped, I was listening to B, and I was listening to B in a way like, this is one of the most incredible production jobs that we've gotten in hip hop, because we got somebody who's 13 years into their career at that time, who needs a comeback. And Kanye, as a fan and as a Chicagoan, was able to take everything he knew about this person and bring the best out. And that's what Hit Boy just did in this whole Nas, 2 trilogies. But B is an amazing piece of work. Like, I'm listening to Common on B, and Common's nice. He's always rapping great. But as far as his songwriting and song structure, it's otherworldly from what the rest of his catalog looks like. The corners, Go, like, you know what I mean? Not to interrupt you, but yeah, it's like he's bringing out the best in this individual. It's like Go is
probably my least favorite beat on that album.
I agree.
Which is saying a lot.
I agree. And I'm sitting there listening. I'm with you, because the corner went off and Go came on. I'm sitting here like, Go is a hit. And it's actually one of Common's bigger hits. And this is one of the weaker songs on the album. And it's a great song.
Because then Faithful and Testify come on, and beat-wise, you're like, man. But here's what I'm saying. Okay, so
I wasn't a big fan of Testify, but the fact that it's a storytelling record on that album, I appreciate it more now.
How many people get to make a storytelling song into a single?
Yeah.
Slick Rick.
And have, Taraji P. Henson star in it.
Faithful is the shit.
Faithful is the shit.
I love Faithful.
Yeah.
So, B,
Shot City.
B, yeah, shit is crazy.
Shit is crazy.
We can just run that out down. B is one of the greatest subtle, all-time great production jobs ever, because there's not one beat on there, maybe outside the corner, where you're just like, but every production job on there is so masterfully woven and perfect for Common. And that is the job of a producer.
It is
to bring the best out in an artist. It's not to make a beat that everybody dances to.
I agree.
It's not to make a beat that makes everybody go, wow, this is the best beat I ever heard. It's about the production fitting what the artist objective is for an album, and you're going to be hard-pressed in modern-day times to find something better produced than B.
I agree, and that's how I was listening to it. I'm sitting here like, this puts you in the mind of those stories that they would tell about Janet and Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, how they got to know her during Control before they made the album. Like, and they made the album based on who that person was. Right.
Where we at with it.
And it wasn't just beats that Kanye was giving this man. He gave him a look, a style to run with.
Canvas.
Yes, he did.
A full canvas.
Yeah.
Like, to quote Boldy James, where we at with it?
Yeah.
That's what Kanye did.
Very impressive. And I'm trying to think of a time in hip hop where we got that from one guy. Like, obviously, you know, Dilla had a couple of beats on there, but Dilla was gone at that time. So Kanye still put that together. You know what I mean?
What I mean. So sometimes it is name brand recognition. So what's the difference between what Kanye did for B than what fucking Hit just did for Magic?
I agree.
KD3.
That's why.
What's the difference?
That's what I was saying.
So
I agree with what you're saying based on the premise.
Yeah, it's about what fits the artist. It's like, you know, why you like Magic so much? Like why heads like Magic so much? It's like, oh no, those are the beats you want to hear Nas rap to.
Yeah.
Fuck how great the beats are. They're the beats that you want to hear him rap to. That's why I like
Magic. And in your interview with Hit Boy, he said he would listen to our conversations and inspired him to, you know what I'm saying, craft some of these things. Right. So clearly the homework that, you know, Kanye was doing with Common or whatever, Hit did the same thing.
Magic 3, that's why I like Magic 3 so much, Mike. I'm like, nah, he made those beats for Nas.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't make those beats just because they were great beats. He made those beats for Nas.
Right.
And yes, that's what it's about as a producer. So it's like you can have a you can have a You Don't Know.
Those are isolated.
Yeah, fuck those ISO plays, Mike. Fuck those ISO plays. Give me the team game. Give me the beautiful game where we passing the ball and anybody scoring at the end. Give me the beautiful game.
Listen, man, B is the difference between Just Blaze and Kanye West. Like, I remember back then.
There's a lot of differences.
There's a lot of differences. But back then, it was like, you know, on the Rockefeller stuff. Right. Because it was kind of like they were trading off, where it was like, okay, you got 2 Kanye songs, you got 2 Just Blaze songs. Like, they were somewhat equal. Like, it was a debate. But no, Kanye's like, no, I can make B for Common. Your go. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you going to do?
Right.
K Nicole with the super chat says, funny enough, I thought WTF SMH was Kanye West's beat.
Huh.
Yeah.
Huh.
LP with the super chat says,
some of these beats sound like Ye's beats. I didn't realize that. It's like, no, some of these beats sound like Ye beats from the Nas and Hit Run. Yeah.
LP with the super chat says, has an album of that era aged better than B? And I'm going to tell you off the top of my head, no. Because when I listened to B the other day in my Beats headphones, shout out, I was like,
don't shout them out.
Right.
Ain't giving us no money. Ain't giving us no money. Dre ain't giving us shit.
Yeah, man.
Shout out to the glove.
Yeah, shout out to the glove. We need some headphones on this show. But anyway, I
don't even see Glove with Dre headphones. Glove, can you get us some beats?
Shout out to Glove. Shout out to Glove. But yeah, I was listening to him in my headphones, man, and I'm sitting here thinking, like, I couldn't even tell you what year this album came out if I didn't know. You know what I mean? Like, I'm listening to this album, like, if somebody were to say, boom, here's this album, what year did it come out in? I couldn't tell you.
Hey, not to go too far back, but if D1, like Straight Outta Compton, and The Infamous, and Riding Dirty by UGK, you feel what I'm saying? Like, shut the fuck up asking Meek to do. You get what I'm saying? You don't get to do that. You don't get to do that.
I thought we was past
we're not done because I'm tired of him doing. I'm tired of niggas doing sucker shit. I am. Like, you like Straight Outta Compton. You like The Infamous. Stop fucking playing.
You know, NWA
you like to hear
Posse.
that shit.
NWA Posse celebrates the anniversary today, and
Mike, What Up Gangster came on. You think D1 ain't never played What Up Gangster in the whip?
I see I walk around like I got an S on
What
the
Up
chest.
Gangster.
Speaking of which, and I see it in the chat.
Wow.
American Gangster celebrates 16 years
I bet you
today.
he loves some American Gangster.
You think American Gangster was a violent album?
I don't think it's violent. I think there's a lot of innuendo.
I like Ignorant Shit a lot. What's one of your favorite songs on that album?
Favorite song is Sweet.
Sweet, yeah.
I'm Hyman Roth. I made all of my partners rich. Can't vouch for you if you
ain't a part of this.
Pardon Lee is a
parlay my yeah.
Parfait my wrist.
Yeah, the wrist is after. Yeah. You know, I thought
you don't like hearing about niggas parfait in their wrist. Yes, you do. Yeah. Yes, you do. Mike,
it's a swagger,
I bet you, Mike. Let's go pull up D1 shit and see what he feel about Reasonable Doubt. You like the evils, nigga. Stop playing with me. Thinking back when we used to use rubbers.
Leroy Green
so in
says,
turn, I'm kidnapping his baby mother. No, you like that shit. Shut up.
Leroy Green says that American Gangster aged just as well as B. Huh.
Okay.
Well, we're celebrating American Gangster right now. I'm going to tell you you're wrong, but it aged well. I think that The Rock Boys is an awesome record, and I think it's.
You love The Rock Boys.
I love that record.
I love the production of that record more than I love the song.
I think I love that record because that's Jay actually taking on a hook that's dope, right? Which is kind of rare, for honest, you know what I mean, for a single. I think that it's some grown-up party type of record where it was like Jay didn't have to compromise.
He talking greasy on there.
He is, of course. Any Jay record I love is probably gonna have that.
That's about that shit that D1 said. It's like, nah, figure. What he say? Take what the Forbes figured and figure more.
Because they forgot to
count what I did with the Raw.
Pick a time, let's pick apart some stores. Pick a weekend for freaking for figure four.
Let's pause for a second. Isn't that like 11 years into Jay's career? Mm-hmm. And he's still talking about take what the Forbes figured and figure more. Because they forgot to account what I did with the Raw. Is he calling out Jay for still talking about the dope game 10 years removed? No. Then don't call out Meek with your weak ass. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh my God.
We got to stop picking and choosing who we want to call out. So since you want to pick and choose and call out one person, call out everybody and start from the fucking top with Jay.
Pick a weekend for freaking.
Because Jay done talk more reckless on records than Meek has, okay? I told you I thought that nigga was getting indicted after I heard Reasonable Doubt when I was a teenager. I was like, I don't care how much people like the album. He's going to jail. You're not allowed to talk like this on record. I'm watching people get locked up in my neighborhood all the time for doing way less than this. He's going to jail. Nobody said a fucking word because the music was great. If Meek's music was great, D1 would not be saying a thing.
Oh, you think it's a quality issue?
It is. If Meek's music was great, he wouldn't say a fucking thing, Mike. We got Reasonable Doubt walking around here. We got Get Rich or Die Trying walking around here. The infamous Hell on Earth. It's dark and hell is hot. DMX brought up literally sexually assaulting a woman on that album. Are you holding DMX accountable for it? You're sitting up here talking about Meek Mill. Get the fuck out my face with that shit.
CJ Kid with the super chat says, every Outkast album after Southern Playalistic, you could tell when those albums came out. Timeless catalog. Huh. He said you can't tell. I think I can tell. Maybe because I know. But I feel like I could tell when ATLiens came out. ATLiens sounds like 96.
We're from Atlanta.
Yeah.
It's different.
Now, Akuma, I'll give you that.
From Atlanta.
And Stank on it, yeah, you can't tell when that really came out.
Atlanta.
But yeah, that's a little different. But yeah, B.
It sounds like 96 to us because we're very clear on what the hip hop landscape sounded like before.
Exactly.
Playalistic, Soul Food, and ATL.
It's the drums, man. Like the drums on ATLiens.
It's the elevation of it. Mm-hmm. It's the hip hop. It's the hip hop orientation. Okay, so like
there are moments on there that could be timeless in that way, like extraterrestrial and stuff like that. But
the boom bap to it lets you know that we had gotten into a hip hop space officially down here.
Right. Because even the song ATLiens, it's the aesthetic. But anyway,
punk ass right.
So you got Sweet on American Gangster.
Say hello, Mike.
Say hello, Scott.
He's super gangster on Say Hello.
Yeah.
Say hello to the bad guy. They say I'm the bad guy. I come from the bottom.
Now Mad Fly. Actually, I think it's the where do you rank American Gangster in his catalog? You don't have it as high as I do.
You know I love 97 Hove.
So you got Volume 1 over American Gangster.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Ain't no damn streets is watching on American Gangster. Ain't no imaginary players on. What are we talking about, Mike? Like, do you have American Gangster over Volume 1?
In the end, yes.
Okay. In the end?
I think that I can't look past the blemishes of Volume 1.
See, okay, so here's where I feel differently than you do about American Gangster. Like, what the fuck is Hello Brooklyn Lil Wayne? Where Lil Wayne from?
I don't love Hello Brooklyn. That's probably
not that good.
Yeah, that's probably the weakest song on the album to me.
Okay. You keep saying that.
It is.
You like Ignorant Shit with Siegel?
I do.
I was so disappointed in them. It's their worst collaboration, in my opinion.
I remember hearing the one before Siegel got on there. It was like
that's better, but that ain't.
What'd he say? It's like
Isn't Blue Magic on there?
I like Blue Magic a lot.
Shame on you.
No, I like Blue
Beat
Magic
is terrible.
No. Nah, Blue Magic's dope.
Fallen's the shit.
Fallen's dope.
Fallen's my top 5 on that album. But yeah, how about this? The way you feel about Volume 1 where you're like, there's some records on there. It's like, no, there are records like that on American Gangster to me They're just not singles.
I think Hello Brooklyn's the only blemish on there to me.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I really don't pick up American Gangster till track 5. Like, you can keep them first few tracks. Just for me, they're not stellar.
I will say this. I think that
It's no 1,000,001 questions.
No.
There's no Streets is Watching on there. There's no Imaginary Player on there.
There's
no You Must Love Me or Where I'm From on there. Mike, what are we doing?
I get what he was doing on Pray.
Yeah.
But I get you.
You can keep it.
I like American Dreaming, though.
You can keep it.
You don't like American Dreaming like that?
You can keep it.
So Surviving Droughts, I Wish You Well.
You can keep it.
How sick am I Wish You Well.
You can keep it.
I Wish You Wills.
You can keep it.
I wish you insights. He's like, I wish you wills, I wish you health, I wish you insight so you could see for yourself.
You can keep it.
I don't know, man.
I'll be saying a lot of shit on Streets, Disciple. You can keep it.
They saying that Volume 1 washes American Gangster. Sound like we got a matchup going on there.
We don't want to do that, Mike.
We should do that.
No, because Versus is about highlights, Mike. I got the highlights. You have a steady album, but what I'm telling you is that, how about this?
How many songs is on each album?
I've always told you this, Mike. If we were to do Jay's greatest hits, like in terms of the quality of songs, oh, Mike, about 6 or 7 of them are on Volume 1.
Name them. Imaginary Player. Streets is Watching.
You Must Love Me.
I don't know about You Must
Where
Love
I'm
Me.
From.
I give you Where I'm From.
So, okay, so we got Streets is Watching, Imaginary Player.
Where I'm from.
1,000,001 Questions.
Yeah, of course.
You don't think You Must Love Me is up there? He's talking about shooting his brother?
I mean, I get it, but I don't think
so.
I think
With
it's
Kelly Price on the hook. You don't.
I think it's based on how incredible his catalog is. I don't think it's the greatest hits for him. Maybe for somebody else, but
What do you feel about Friend or Foe 98?
nah, not for him.
Okay.
Dope song, but I don't think it's the greatest.
You don't like Who You With the way
I never liked Who You
Who You
With.
With's the shit, man.
I never liked Who You With like that.
Bitches, thug bitches.
That was the
bitches,
record they used to play down
bitches.
here.
It was. It used to make the top 5 down here. Don't matter. You're my bitches. Go.
Yeah.
When he said match whips with the best of y'all, the rest of y'all's like vegetables in my presence. Check it. I was like, give me that guy. It's like, that guy's hard. It's like, it sounds like he's been down here before.
So yeah, I got 4. 1,000,001. Streets is Watching. Imaginary Player. Where I'm From.
Are you comfortable saying those are 4 of his 20 best records? I am. And I can't think of one record on American Gangster that makes his top 20.
With the exclusion of Where I'm From. I don't think Where I'm From is one of his 20 best records.
Shit, I think Where I'm From might be the best record on the album, Mike. The most famous line he ever said comes from that song.
It does.
Understand that?
Well, not the most. That's not his most famous line, but I got you.
It is his most famous line, Mike, because it's his most quoted line. I'm from where niggas pull your car and argue all day about who's the best MCs. Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas. Where the drug stalls evolves. Thugs are at odds. At each other's throats for the love of foreign cars. Will catch cases hoping to charge R&Rs. But most times find themselves locked up behind bars
at all. I'm from where they ball and breed rhyme
I'm from
style.
a place where the church is the flakiest and niggas been praying to God so long that they atheists. Well, you can't take your vest away and say you wear it tomorrow because the day be after they be saying, damn,
I was just with them yesterday.
I'm about a block away from hell. Not enough straps away from a straight shell. Ounce away from a triple beam. Still using a handheld weight scale. You're laughing. You know the place where the liquor stores and the base dwell. And fuck government. Niggas politic themselves. No, Mike, that's one of his 20 best records.
He hopped out of the van and sprayed things. Yeah.
No, that's one of his 20 best songs, Mike. I'm sorry.
I don't know, man. That's how strong his catalog is. I don't know.
Mike, I don't think he has 10 songs better than Where I'm From, let alone 20. I think
Leroy Green with the super chat says, Coop, American Gangster is the elevated version of Volume 1, bar-wise. I think we need to put this in the chat. We need a poll before we get out of here. Volume 1 or American Gangster? Happy anniversary to American Gangster. 16 years already. How crazy is that?
It's the last great album. So to be
right.
It is. It's his last great album.
Truly is.
It is. Blueprint 3 is really good. That's his last great album.
Esquire with the super chat says, you probably want to comment to this. That's why I cut you off. He says, Volume 1 is top heavy. Comparing that to American Gangster is like comparing Nas I Am to KD3. I Am has the classic cuts, but KD3 is stronger from top to bottom.
Okay. Let's be honest about I Am. I'm tired of telling you niggas this. I Am has Nas's like.
Okay.
That's the top heavy part of I Am, nigga.
not New York State of Mind Part 2?
Already told you.
It's a great record.
It's a great record, Mike. It's not better than the original. And for people,
let's take the original out of it. Is it a great record?
That.
You can,
Mike.
Okay. It's a song of its own.
Here's the conversation when you're having the New York State of Mind, 2 conversation. When you talk about New York State of Mind, that comes up as one of the best songs he's ever done. That is a top 20 Nas song. New York State of Mind is not, Part 2 is not in that conversation. That's why I say when you're talking top heavy, I Am's not top heavy. I Am's just not that damn good.
I'm not going to argue with you on that.
It's got Nas's like.
What do you think about Hate Me Now?
I like Hate Me Now. Hate Me Now is not one of Nas' 20 best songs.
No.
The only top
it never
20,
was one of my favorites.
The only top 20 song on I Am is Nas's like Mike.
It's true. In my opinion. Now,
New York State of Mind is better than Nas's like, by the way.
What, the first one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. So no, it's not the same thing. I don't know how he got 4.5 mics in the source.
Timing.
4.
I said timing.
No, he just deserves 4 for it.
Oh, yeah.
We got to be honest. That's what I'm saying. It's like, no, the same way I'll sit up there and talk about them lames that was talking about him earlier. It's like, no. But that album ain't no 4.5.
In my opinion, I mean, the one that came out, and you probably heard a different one with the double disc. The one that came out to me, that's about 3.5, man.
I'm going to give him New York State of Mind. I love Favor for a Favor. It's Nas and Scarface.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally, like, that might be my 2 personal favorites. You know what I'm saying? And they're on a record together. So it's like my 2 personal favorites on the record. It's like, yeah, I'm going to take that. Small World is probably his most underrated story. Undying Love is a great story. But Mike, you got to kill that Dr. Knock boot and You Won't See Me Tonight shit on there.
Those are the things that take albums down for me.
That's just like it's the same shit on Volume 1. It's like, you know what, Dr.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Dr. Knock boot and You Won't See Me Tonight is just like The City Is Mine and I Know What Girls Like. It's
and
like,
for
what
me,
are you doing, fam? What are you doing?
And for me, when you have an album with 1,000,001 on it and you got like, you know, Imaginary Play on it, I'm going to dock more points for you having a Sunshine and I Know What Girls Like on it because you know better. You know what I'm saying?
I'm holding you accountable for what you're capable of doing.
In that moment. It's not even like holding you accountable.
I'm holding you accountable, man.
I'm just saying,
now.
These songs are made in the damn near same sessions. So you're in the process of making an album, right? 97 Hov, right? Or 98 or 99 Nas, right? We're talking about that. So you're making, Nas is like, you're making 1,000,001 and then you go back the next day and make I Know What Girls Like. No,
you better stop
that's going to make me knock the album down further.
And shame on the niggas. And I don't just blame them. They be in the studio with a group full of guys. Doing some groupie shit and co-signing them. You just need one person in the room to be like, yo. Right, cut that.
Dot with the super chat says, I Am is fire as fuck, man. Y'all tripping.
No, you can set half of the album on fire that came out. You can set half of the album on fire. Mike, I want to talk to the mayor, the governor. I was like, what is he doing? I was like, what is fam doing? Big things? What is fam doing?
I think I never want to grow up. Esquire with the super chat says, better comparison than KD3 and Godson. Before we get out of here, man.
Godson is great. That's a great album. Godson's way better than I Am.
It is better than I Am.
Because Made You Look and Nas is like at the same level. You feel what I'm saying? Epic Nas songs. And Made You Look
I understand what you're saying. Like. Yes, it is.
And Made You Look is actually better than Nas is like.
Yes, it is.
How many times can you say post Nas is like, it's like, that's better than Nas is like, Made You Look?
I'm going to agree with Irv Gotti on this one. Made You Look's one of the strongest hip-hop songs, period.
I agree. Mike,
Makes You Look is strong.
I think
I don't even, you know, why niggas be talking about the remix, I don't even really like the remix like that because of the original. Like,
okay, so Mike, we're in agreement. When the remix come on, I'll be like, no.
Yeah, no. Play the other one. Yo, no. Even the way he starts that shit off.
Mike,
like,
up to that point, it was the best delivery I'd ever heard from him, and definitely best delivery on a single.
Oh, yeah. It's his best single, in my opinion. The nigga came in there, now let's get it all in perspective. Ooh, like, no. Y'all appointed me to bring rap justice?
But I ain't 5-0. Y'all know what's
man,
Great Goose
and that beat.
Lot of hydro. Only describe. Listen to what he's saying, because his conscious talk game is still in there. only describe us as soldier survivors.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
They
still
dress-
Nas.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He's
All right.
crazy on there.
I know we're like, way into the show. Let's talk about this Jeezy album.
We have to.
Listen, man, and everybody on the show knows I'm not the biggest Jeezy fan.
Everybody knows I am.
Yeah.
Shout out to Snow.
I really like this album.
Album's dope.
I think the production was on point. I'm not mad at it being this long because
it's 2-minute songs. It's like it's a lot of 2-minute,
right.
A lot of 2.5-minute songs. And so I appreciate that.
I really like his production choice. I like his perspective on here. Like you said, he got personal. I do think the fact that he just put out a book a few months back probably helped with this part of it too. I think it's the best album he's put out in a long time. I'm gonna have to go back and listen again. I think it's the best Jeezy album I heard in a minute. And it's definitely a top 5 album off the top of my head this year.
I agree with both sentiments, Mike. And everybody who knows me knows this. It gave me Trap or Die 1 and 2 vibes.
Yeah, with a growth to it too.
No,
it wasn't like he was trying to chase it. Yeah.
The vibes was I was like, that's the nigga that's rapping on my Trap or Die mixtapes that I prefer more than all of his albums.
He had the quotables in there, you know what I'm saying? And the motivation was in there. Like, that's one of them albums you get your day started with. Like, okay, you ready to go get it? Let's put on this Jeezy.
But I'm going to tell you what I really heard. I'm not being funny. So, you remember I was talking about when we were talking about Reasonable Doubt? And I'm like, he can't talk like this. He's going to get indicted if he keeps talking like this. When I heard this album, it's like, oh, it's too late to indict him for this shit. It's past the statute of limitation. It's great.
LP with the super chat says.
It's like how I felt. It's like, oh no, they can't indict him for bringing up these names and talking about niggas who snitching this. I'm like, oh no, he's so far past all of that. And this is how you know that his street life was real. These are stories that we did not hear. That's what I like about it. It's like, oh no, you know his life was real because now he's telling stories. That's why I like Trap or Die 2 so much, Mike, is that Trap or Die 2, he's telling a lot of his work stories, but it's vague. Mm-hmm. That's legally covering himself. Oh no, he ain't worried about it no more because he knows what the law looks like and he's really talking greasy on here. But when I mean talking greasy on here, he's really talking about his life and the things that have happened because now he is literally legally free to. You understand? Mm-hmm. But I guess D1 gonna pull up and tell him we want him to talk about some other bullshit.
LP with the super chat.
Trap music from Jeezy.
LP with the super chat says, "Is Jeezy a top 25 Southern MC now, Mike?" Sure.
Yo, hating ass.
And honestly, like I said,
I don't believe you ever did that.
I had Troy over him because I feel like he kind of adopted Troy's style. But if we really break it down, Jeezy's catalog speaks for itself. He's had an amazing career. And he's still here and he's still cranking out quality material. So he's definitely on that list.
I didn't know that he had this in him. Like, I think this album is the surprise of the year, in my opinion, because if you would have told me in 2023 that Jeezy's going to make a top 5 album, even me as a hardcore fan and a core fan, like somebody was literally following him before he ever had a deal. Oh yeah, if you would have told me he would have made a top 5 album this year, I would have looked at you and been like, cut that out.
I never was a big fan. I was entertained, right? You know what I mean? With all the Trap or Dies, Thug Motivation 101.
What are you rating it? I want to hear your rating for it.
It's definitely a 4 and up. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking 4.25.
Tell me the albums you think are better.
I think that Magic 3 I'd put ahead of it. I'd put Michael ahead of it. I'd put Abolish Uncertainties ahead of it.
The Skis, the J Skis.
And I also would put, it's something that I'm missing.
The Ransom?
I wasn't even thinking The Ransom. I don't know about
West
that
Side?
one. It wasn't the West Side.
Drake?
No. I think I'm debating between the Sky Zoo. I'm still very impressed by Sky Zoo. Mall 7 with the super chat says, "Mate, you look amazing. I loved it more when I saw Nas perform it live a month ago. Me and everyone in the arena was going crazy."
Shit crazy.
Yeah, again, I think that I felt the energy of, the Jeezy movement, and we talked about this with the Nick Love interview. Like, there was never really a rollout and never anything that big that ever came out of this city, right? That was like the biggest like grassroots movement, if you will, that came. Now, I felt all that, but I just never thought he was that nice as an MC, bar for bar. I felt his perspective, but on here, he sounds improved on all levels. You know what I'm saying? And he wasn't relying on features. He was going, you know what I'm saying, for Dolo on this. He got that perspective on here. The production fit. By the time I was like 5 songs in, I'm like, yo, this shit hard. And I wasn't expecting to press play
going
on
to Jeezy for bars is like going to Meek for prison reform. It's probably not going to happen.
I'm not saying bars in that sense, but even clever stuff. Like
Jeezy did say one time, put them in the vans. I ain't talking about the shoes. Yeah, hey, go Snow.
You know what used to get me, man?
Snow.
When he used to say like a basic line and be like, you get it? I'd be like, don't do that.
I love it. I love it.
I thought his bars were funny. Like, I remember he was on...
Jeezy's got a sense of humor.
Yeah, when he was on, you know, Jeezy like to smoke, Jeezy like to drink. But now the Fabulous record. Shit, what's the song called? You know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't.
It's on damn, people are gonna say it in the chat. Okay. It's on Fab's my mind is drawing a blank right now. He's like
the record ain't like that.
No, he was like, my phone is tapped. So is do the damn thing. My phone is tapped. So is the living room. We can't hide the money here. We need a bigger room. Where he was like, Jeezy Commando. He said, matter of fact, I ain't Fat Joe, but I can make you lean back. Save your ammo, don't waste it. Have me dodging bullets like you in the Matrix. See, I used to think stuff like that was funny, but I never really looked at it like,
are you not entertained?
I'm entertained, yes. But see, again,
it's entertainment.
It was entertainment. But I'm hearing him different now, where it's like this current project, it's entertaining, and he's giving you more. And
giving you the game, too.
Yeah, he is. I think this is one of his better projects, period.
As far as major label release projects, I think obviously 101, 103, and The Recession are better.
Mm-hmm.
So this would be his 4th best studio album, in my opinion.
That's saying a lot. This deep into your career. 18 years in?
Yeah. So I think this is his 4th best studio album. And you're right, Mike. It's better than anything that he's done the last 10 years. Easy.
Mm-hmm.
Easy. And I think really, when did The Recession come out, Mike? Because like he literally has Kanye and Nas on that album. It's like
The Recession was like 08, I feel like. Yeah. 07, 08, something like that.
It's the best thing since The Recession.
Wow.
Ain't no who that on there though.
That shit hard. Now, the last song that he made was the one with the It's All There. It's All There. It's hard.
No.
What you think about Seen It All?
Fair. Not foul.
Okay.
Not great, but fair ball. Nice little single or a double. This shit a triple.
Yeah.
I'm with you on the 4.25. I'm with you on the top 5 album of the year rating. Snow.
All right. Well, what else do we need to get to before we get out of here? Any sports talk? I know we kind of went backwards in that.
Mike, I believe I picked Baltimore.
You did.
To go to and win the Super Bowl this year.
My dad said that the other day, and I thought about you. My dad was like, Baltimore might win the whole thing.
I believe I picked Lamar Jackson to win MVP as well, Mike.
You did.
Mike, who looking like the MVP favorite right now, and who looking like the Super Bowl favorite right now?
No, for sure.
The only thing that's going to get in Baltimore's way is that guy Joe Burrow in Cincinnati.
My dad said that too.
That's a bad motherfucker, Mike.
He the truth, man.
Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback of all time. He's the greatest football player of all time.
Mm-hmm. Hands down.
So I'm not exaggerating when I say this. There's only one person that I see that looks like that money time game, Mike.
Mm-hmm. He's that guy.
Like I've been watching Joe Burrow play since
LSU.
Shit, Mike, I remember when he was at Ohio State because Ohio State
that's right.
They let him go.
They did.
No, I remember them talking about him in spring practices. My family from Ohio. They from Youngstown. So it's like, no. I be getting information and news. I be seeing shit on the wire from the Ohio people online. Mike, he's played one big game in his life, and that was the AFC Championship last year.
Mm-hmm. And they still almost won that.
And they still almost won.
Yeah.
So I feel like Baltimore's about to get home field. And the only way this is going to stop them from going to the Super Bowl is if he shows up in the town, because he's the only guy. Mike, he don't give no fuck. Like, he is hashtag fuck your team. He's like, where we got to go?
Yeah.
It don't matter where we got to go.
Yep.
I'm that dude. When they asked him, it's like, so what does the window look like with you here? My career. He meant that shit, Mike. And every time he plays in a big game, I'm like, that's that dude.
He is.
He plays like
no
that.
fear.
He plays like that dude when it's time to play like that dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he looks average sometimes when it doesn't matter. Let it matter. That's that Tom Brady shit.
You're right.
It's like, Mike, you understand this motherfucker been completing like 75% of his passes?
Yeah, he's insane.
He's insane, Mike.
Patricio with the super chat says, Coop, I loved your take on the D1 Meek matter. You dropping knowledge once again. On another note, other notes, Jeezy albums is dope, and American Gangster is definitely better than Volume 1. I love City is Mine, though.
We can talk about it. It's debatable. It's arguable. Mike, the only thing stopping Baltimore, because here's the thing. Miami can't beat a team with a winning record. Patrick Mahomes, I love Mahomes, and we're going to give him some grace about it.
Mm-hmm.
But how great and phenomenal has he really, really looked these last 2 years?
Right.
Because I really feel like if Jalen Hurts doesn't fumble the football, he's 1-2 in Super Bowls. You feel me?
Yeah, we can't do that, but I feel what you're saying.
You feel what I'm saying?
It's not convincing.
Like, Mahomes hadn't played great. Like, he's played in 3 Super Bowls. I haven't seen him play great yet in a Super Bowl, Mike. He is literally one Jalen Hurts fumble and one Jimmy Garoppolo pass away from being 0-3 in a Super Bowl. Like, literally, he's 2 plays away from being 0-4 in the Super Bowl to me. And I think that Kansas City, if they have to play Cincinnati or Baltimore, he might have a day and beat 1. He's not beating 2. Buffalo, regression. Miami, not ready. It's Cincinnati and Baltimore. And I told you this is Lamar Jackson's year because he's on his Y'all Must Have Forgot tour, as in there are only 3 MVPs there are only 3 MVPs walking around in this league right now, Mike.
It's straight up.
And one of them is not walking around because he tore his ACL.
Yeah.
So Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson are the only MVPs in this league walking around. And people need to act like that and understand that right now, the 2 best quarterbacks in the league play in the same division. And that's actually the AFC North. 2 best quarterbacks in football right now are Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow in that order. And Lamar's going to have to bring his best game to beat Joe. Because nothing against Lamar, he does not have the big game resume as Joe.
He doesn't.
And if Joe come into town, I'm afraid. But outside of Joe,
as you should be.
Should be frightened.
Yeah.
Like no. Everywhere he walks around, you should be worried if he's coming to your town.
He don't care, man. He got it on his face.
He's Omar with the shotgun, Mike. He's like who town we in? Really don't matter. Robbing niggas today.
Michael Williams with the super chat
might put on a gold chain and a fur after I'm done.
Michael Williams with the super chat says, if Cole and Lupe get on a song together, who do you think have the better verse?
Cole.
Lupe.
Cole.
I'm going Lupe.
You don't have no evidence.
I'm going to go with
Who is Lupe studded on like that? That you talking about?
Lupe's just a better MC, in my opinion. Lyrically.
Based on what?
Based on Mural, based on Dumb It Down, based on Streets on Fire.
I could say that about Ras Kass in relationship to Black Thought if you just want to run down a couple songs. That don't make them better.
I think that Black Thought would get Ras Kass on the record. But I think so. I mean, I'm not 100% sure.
Cole.
Nah, I'm going with Lupe on that one.
I'm not picking against North Carolina when North
Carolina. I know you're not.
Fuck all that.
Miles 7 with the super chat says, I'm from Ohio, and I'm a huge OSU fan. And I remember when we recruited Burrow from Athens. And I said this kid will be a star one day. And he should start at OSU.
See how them Ohio people talking? Look, no. When he left Ohio State, that was the thing. It's like, we might be picking the wrong guy. And guess what? You picked the wrong guy.
Dot said, prime Cam Newton or Joe Burrow?
Give me Joe still. Give me Joe still.
I hate to pick anybody over Cam, man.
How did Cam
I love
play in that
Cam.
Super Bowl?
It's unfortunate, man.
For my team, how do you play in the Super Bowl, though, Mom?
I'm gonna tell you this, man.
You got Son.
That shit look like something else, man. I never seen Cam play so lifeless. I never seen Cam not diving for balls. I've never seen Cam play like that in big games. So, yeah.
I don't want to talk about it. We should have beat them. Carolina should have a Super Bowl banner.
Based on what we see right now, I'm gonna have to pick Cam because Cam actually has a league MVP and he has been in the Super Bowl. Until Joe does that,
in the Super Bowl and he lost.
Yeah, he did.
Lost to the Rams.
He doesn't have an MVP though.
Coming soon.
Oh, I agree with that.
It's coming soon.
Yeah.
His MVP is coming soon. Guys like that do not go a whole career without winning.
Oh,
MVP.
no. He's gonna get a couple.
He's gonna win an MVP. Randall Cunningham got an MVP. I love Randall Cunningham. Randall Cunningham's not Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's gonna win an MVP in this league.
Well,
but as far as this year is concerned, Lamar Jackson's about to win MVP number 2. He about to ring number 1. I'm about to put some respect on his name. We're watching in Mahomes, Burrow, and Lamar. It's very much like, I don't know, we are watching 3 of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Like, it's unfolding in front of us the same way Breeze and Peyton and Brady unfolded. Like, it's unfolding right now. So it's just gonna be about who really makes it to the finish line. But I do feel like Lamar is about to match Patrick with MVPs with 2. And catch up to the ring count. And Burrow is the guy latest to the party because Mahomes was there. So he's going to get
He got a lot of catching up to do. I think he'll get his.
He's going to get his.
I like Josh Allen a lot, too. And shout out to Buffalo.
You like Josh Allen?
Yeah.
Okay. So does the other team because that's who he keeps giving the other fucking ball to. Like, the other team likes Josh Allen, too, because he keeds handing them the ball in big games. Yes.
Well, I know Monday Night Football's on right now.
He looks like Brett Favre, minus the winning when it matters.
The gunslinger.
Right.
Well, football's on right now, and I know...
and he don't got no Sterling Sharp. Because
no.
fucking Diggs ain't Sterling Sharp. So.
All right, well, let's get up out of here, man. We got to go watch some football ourselves because the Jets are playing. Shout out to our New York audience.
It's a really, really sad day when the best team in New York are the Jets. It's a sad day.
Shout out to the Jets, man. I need their receiver to get a couple points for my fantasy team. I haven't been talking
shit because the Atlanta Braves choked in epic fashion, but all your teams still suck.
Hit like and subscribe, everybody.
Did the Giants quarterback tear his ACL?
Huh?
Daniel Jones tore his ACL.
Did he?
Your team sucked before that. They were last in offense and points when he was there. Who cares if he tore his ACL? Your team sucks.
They said appreciate it, Mike. For sure. Hit like and subscribe. Appreciate y'all joining us today, and we're going to holler at y'all on Wednesday. How the Knicks doing? I want the Knicks to be good, too.
The Knicks ain't been good since we was kids. Stop that.
All right, Posse out. A2HH Live. Appreciate y'all.
The team sucks.
The Jets are losing. Huh. Let me see if my guy got his points.